We intend to offend. We will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. So for the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I don't even have a card.
Welcome, everyone, to another adventure into comedy. I am joined today by my carnivorous co-hosts, Monty Dean, David Ellis, and Don Bruce from the land of the great Talamanca Mountains when he shows up.
Yes, the man near the equator.
Montosaurus Rex and Count David Ellis.
It looks like Bruce is on the move.
David is muted and Bruce is on the move.
Welcome. You see,
like the gremlins be gone.
Yeah, this entire production's a joke. Hey, it's comedy. Work with it.
Work with it is correct. What have you guys been up to this week?
All right, that's either a cow or Robert's getting a text. I never know which one that is.
It's my text. You got it.
Right, okay.
All right, what have you guys been up to this week?
Sleeping, assimilating information from an audio book that I finished a month ago, realizing it's cold, and living life fully and ignoring the global narrative.
Andrew, what have you been up to?
Jack and shit.
So two things. You're doing two things.
Yes, Jack and shit. I have been a not in motion galactic historian, yet in motion.
Would you like to know what I've been up to?
Yes. What have you been doing?
I've been having fun with Christians.
I love this show.
David, you are revisiting your Roman lifetimes, but it's not the Christians and the lions this time. It's the Davids versus the Christians.
Yep.
And David is the lion.
It's David versus Goliath versus Christians.
I created an online quiz to test Christians' knowledge of Christianity. I did.
And what were the results?
So I made the quiz shareable, right? So that they could share it with their friends and the congregation and stuff like that. The results were almost a 95% failure rate. That is not even a joke. A 95% failure rate. I mean, I can show you the results, right? And so little things like how many apostles were there? They didn't know. So I was like, I don't know. Probably the piousness is a bit overrated. So yeah, I've had fun with Christians. I could share the test with you guys actually. Let's see how many bad Christians there are in this audience. I think they're probably a lot.
Well, both Bruce and Monty have had plenty of experience battling right-wing crazy Christians on open round tables.
Oh shit!
And Bruce has become an artiste at cutting down the Christian dogma.
Yeah.
So having the two of you join together versus the Christian dogma, there is comedy to be had tonight.
Oh yeah!
Praise the comedy gods.
I hope they're not listening.
I don't think they would be
Jesus
listening.
by a nose, Satan is pulling up the flank. Satan is Jesus by a nose. It's Satan by a nose.
The thing what I like about Bruce is he's
and then whatever agnostic says at that moment, I should have bet the trifecta.
Yes.
What I like about Bruce is he's broadened his perspective and he just goes, Abraham, it's his fault. It goes from there. It's like, why? Just not a little sect. Let's just go for the whole enchilada.
Yeah. Just like that way you can't get accused of picking on anybody. Just Abrahamics in general.
Yeah.
Excellent. Guys, I'm just going to drop that quiz inside the chat. Try your luck. I mean, you can't get any worse than the Christians that did this test, right? So, like, let's see how many bad Christians there are. I'm dropping it into the chat. Everybody, try it. At some point in time, try it. So
Nice website, Curious Karen.
I love it.
I want to speak to your manager.
Exactly. Karen wants to speak to your manager.
I would like to speak to your deity.
Exactly.
It's on, bitch. Robert, you're gonna fail that. You're gonna fail that quiz. Actually, I'm gonna specifically look for your results. All right.
Ooh. Someone's popular on Skype.
So David, share with us some of the results.
Okay, so I can pretty much go through it with you so that you guys can they were very simple questions. I didn't think that there was anything to be that I only did it as a lead grab. So my first question was something like, what is Psalm 23 about? Like, if you're a Christian, you're going to recite that at some point, right? And I'm like,
what is Psalm 23?
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Oh, yeah.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Right. Right. Like, I mean, like, the Fibonacci sequence, really? Okay. How old was Jesus when he was crucified? These kinds of things. Like, God gave his only begotten son in what Bible verse? Which, let's take a little break. Let's talk about the Bible for a moment. Monty, I asked you this question in a conversation we had last week. What is with the schizophrenia in the Bible? So in the Old Testament, God is running up and killing everybody. Oh, yeah. Everybody. Somewhere along the line, he says, you know what? The body count is a bit high. I'm going to run out of followers. You know, the flood kind of took a whole bunch of them out. So I'm just going to send my son to go and die for them. Like, how? Like, how does that work? Like, that's schizophrenia 101. There are a number of things wrong with this, you know. The first thing is that you changed policy, but then that means that you're not omniscient because you would have known that the policy wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, because his board members, his board members had to reel him in.
Right? Yes.
And then there was a hostile takeover by Yahweh.
Yeah, like cool out, man. Like chill out.
We've invested a lot of money into this project, and we can't let it to fail.
It's not like he made any mistakes in those Abrahamic scriptures. It's just as golfers say, he takes a few mulligans.
Exactly.
And what is with the whole
between him and his caddy? Only him and his caddy know. Nobody's going to question the scorecard of the prime creator.
Exactly.
Speaking about Abraham, what is with the sacrifice your son, but not really? Who the hell does that?
Got you. I got you.
I got you.
I don't know why he's an Indian. Hey, I got you. You nearly did it. You're a strange little man. Yeah, I like it. Someone explained, like, you know, the scoreboard of the Old Testament. God, Satan 7. God 2,345,653.
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's this whole story with Abraham, where you got two sons here. You got Isaac, so he puts Isaac on this pyre. He's about to drive this knife into Isaac's heart, and God is like, you know, I really didn't actually mean it. You know, you didn't have to kill your son. I was just testing you, man. Right?
Don't do it. Don't do it. What are you doing?
Like, did you read my commandments? Murder's against my word, right? Like, but he's sending this guy to off his son, and I'm like, whoa. Like, you gotta look at these things from a comedic point of view, you know.
You see, that, right? Prime Creator's office he had one of his assistants send the message to Abraham, sacrifice the child, and the last minute he had to come in and fix it.
Look, if I have to slip into gangster mode and rework the Old Testament for you, you would actually see what's going Yeah, I am testing. You know that, Robert. So let me explain something to you. God is a full-on gangster in the Old Testament. Like
OG,
like
man. OG.
right,
Original God,
original
exactly.
gangster.
God. The
He's an
original
gangster.
the original monotheistic God.
Because Andrew, this is how it went. You diss me, you're dead.
Exactly. Diss me, you dead. It's my corner. This is my corner, bitch.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you diss God, he would just roll up on you, but not like in a drive-by. No, man, he's rolling meteors on your ass, Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't ask for these poor idiots in Egypt. Can you imagine 12 plagues? Like, I diss you once, but you're going to give me 12 different plagues. Okay?
Exactly.
Like that is some ruthless shit. When you're talking about frogs all over the place, you're talking about everything turning to
Locusts.
locust blood, like your firstborns are dying and so on. Like that is some original gangster shit.
Well,
Like
you got to remember, like the
Chapo ain't got anything on God.
Yeah, you got to remember, God is like the opposite of the Joker in the Dark Knight. It's not about the message; it's about the money.
Yeah, correct. Right. No, but we really did see some really dark stuff in most of these, and I keep going back to all these spiritual texts, right? Bloody stuff. If there are Hindus inside there, you are not exempt, so don't even try it. If there are Buddhists inside there, all these religions are pretty dread.
I like the example you pointed out with the Hindus. It was like, there was a family squabble, and then Anju, I think that's how you say it. You know what? We should really sit down and have a chat. And then Smurth Christ comes in, and Krishna goes, "Fuck that, yo."
No, this is how this went down. So you got a family, and the cousins have stolen.
I have a technical question.
Sure.
Robert, can you oscillate my voice so I come off like one of those anonymous witnesses in an A&E crime documentary?
Yeah. So
at this stage of the game, no.
So it's like
now we go to an archangel who would like to be. We'll just
Jimmy
call
did
him
it all.
Bruce.
Jimmy led it all. It was all Jimmy.
Yeah. No. Actually, Andrew, there's this family, and the cousins have stolen the land, right?
Yep.
And the hero of the Gita, his name is Arjuna, right? Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to reclaim this land, except he's having second thoughts about killing his own family because, that's not a good thing to do. All right. And he's saying to Krishna, who's the god, the Simonizer of the Gita, that I don't really want to kill my family. I mean, it's just land, right? And Krishna's like, no, get into that chariot. We're going to kill all of these mofos across there. We're going to kill all of them, right? And he's like, but it's my family. And Krishna's like, get in the chariot. Did I stutter? Right? and he takes this guy across the field, and there's this big battle, and everybody's dead, and so on. And Krishna consoles him by telling him, well, there's no such thing as birth and death. It's just a state of where you are, man, right? But you got some bloodthirsty gods. Why do all human beings, gods, have to be bloodthirsty? First question.
I want to say, why are the people battling for first monotheistic place bloodthirsty? Because it's king of the mountain. Whichever first god of monotheism, who's going to be the only god of all time and space, you better be a bloody motherfucker.
Really? It's really, in its proper context in 2021, though, I would put the Abrahamics as a downgraded agency. Right?
Oh yeah, they're definitely double
they
A.
They can't resolve any karma. Everything they touch explodes into multiplicity.
Yeah, whenever we take the piss, whenever I take the piss out of religion anywhere, there's always somebody that pipes up and says, but what about the Buddhists? They're all peaceful. No, the killing fields.
Exactly.
No, It's like I told Monty, when a Buddhist goes bad, they really go bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
Life is
they're not
pain,
halfway.
motherfucker.
Like postal agents.
Yeah.
They go
Right?
bad.
Like, they really go bad. Like they're
I've been
killing
wearing this
everybody.
sheet for 10 years and living in a cave. I'm going to kill some bitches, all right?
Cosmic civil servant explosion.
Anybody know the story of Ashoka? And it's kind of funny, but the world's worst murderers decided to go Buddhist after a while, right? Now this man lost a woman. He lost a woman. He thought she was killed, and so he just decided, let's murder the continent, because it's in my way. It's kind of like Marvin Martian, right?
Mhm.
It's like he wants to blow up the earth because it obstructs his view of Venus. This man decided to murder an entire continent, effectively at that, right? So I don't know. Even in the earth religions, the Orisha, whether it be the Orisha, the gods of Santeria and so on, bloody stuff. And Andrew, I'm going to take the piss out of you right now because you Greek.
Mhm. Oh yeah, they're the worst.
What do we have?
The worst. They're the goat fuckers, griffin fuckers, evil.
You got bestiality.
Yep.
You got incest. You got raping animals. You got
Cannibalism.
Like you got all different kinds of rape. You got woman on man rape. You got woman on animal rape. You got like what the hell was going on in Greece back in the day? Like what really was going on?
Got out of hand quick.
Right?
Yeah.
It went downhill real
It jumped
quick.
up a notch.
Yeah, and Zeus was such a player who would have sex with all these women, but I don't know if he's from the Bill Cosby school of dating, where it's like, no, I'm a duck this time, or no, this time I'm a horse. It's like, Zeus turned into a duck and had sex with this woman. It's like, she be tripping, yo. Like, whatever's in that drink.
It was the best ducking she ever had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well.
Why are you pregnant? I saw this duck at a bar, and I don't want to talk about it.
The duck drank me under the table.
Yeah.
No, I actually, when I was studying comparative religion, I was like, this shit is seriously fucked. I cannot believe that people read this and they're like, oh yeah, I'm cool with this. What? I'm cool with this. Yeah, he fucked a cow. It's fine. Right? She fucked a bull. What's the problem? What's the problem?
Yeah, bestiality's fine. That's totally fine when you're talking deities.
So what does one believe in? What believes in an intelligent universe? Well, that's kind of dry, isn't it?
That's why you gotta believe in the flying spaghetti monster.
All hail.
All hail his pastiness. His high pastafarian.
Yes, yeah. Except no impastors.
Yes, no impastors. Yeah.
It's funny. No, I
the anti-pasta god.
So I had fun with Christians, and I think next week I'm going to have fun with esoteric people. Oh, you know that's coming.
Oh, that shit's fun. We do it all the time.
Let us.
We have no holds barred against the light worker communities here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
So
anybody in the chat room that's heard my best light worker insults or Monty's best light worker insults, give us a reminder of some of the stuff that we've done out there.
Yeah, I do like the whole light work, light, love, and everything else like that. Yeah, but we live in a duality, so you kind of need to work with the shadow and then become one. If you constantly like love.
Somebody in the chat asked how about the dark workers? Now, let me see if I get this straight. You're eating 3 meals a day, you're good, but you decided that, I must praise Satan. And the whole premise of gaining power in Satanism is to debase yourself, right? As much as possible. Okay? So while you're sparing yourself with blood, like, you need to ask yourself, how did I get here? How did I get here? Like, you're sitting in shit, you're smearing yourself with blood, you've shaven your head with, like this is the debasement. This is how people gain power under that religion. And I'm like, get a job, man. I mean, like,
have you thought of, Try some jelly beans, a fruit cup, as Bill Hicks would
Right.
say. You know,
You need to chill out.
There might be a natural way of curing this, but I think you need to see a doctor.
You know it.
Yeah,
You don't know allopathic.
there's no allopathic way. Allopathy's the only way to fix this shit.
yeah. Have you thought of professional help?
Job, the Bible character, Job. Yes, there's that story. Does anybody know the story of Job, and does anybody know the story of Jonah as well?
Yes.
Yes.
You see this gangster God I'm talking about? Like, I want you to deliver a message for me. I'm kind of busy. It's my vacation. I'm just gonna go fishing. You end up in the belly of a whale. Like, but seriously, like how does that work? Bruce, help me out here. How does that work?
Job is hands down the harshest case of gang initiation right I've ever seen in my life. That was a tough prospect for Job. Job was a tough prospect. He's patched in now, though. He's a full patch member now. But they gave him a hard time. I don't think they really wanted him.
Yeah, he's a part of the cartel now.
I think that when Jesus was on the cross, and I just want to make it a little aside here, for those of you who have crosses around your neck who are listening to the show, that is some macabre, morbid shit. Okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the regular cross, and then there's like the ones, the pendants where the guy's actually welded onto the cross. I mean, like, think, people. Like, let me see if I get this straight. You are wearing a symbol of some guy dying horribly on your chest murder. To remind yourself to be a good person. Give me a break.
The guys. God of light and love. And so we're going to promote that by his son's murder. And we'll place it. I've heard of stories of 8-year-olds going, why is that man being killed?
Exactly. Isn't he supposed to be an inspiration and love?
Yeah, so, it's like we'll take the worst part, not the resurrection.
You know what kills me? Death. You know what kills me? There's not a Christian person that you go to and say, so how you feel about S&M? Oh, no S&M. Your whole religion is based on some sadistic shit. Your whole religion is based on some sadistic shit. This guy was beaten, flogged and beaten. Publicly, he had to carry a cross. He got speared through the side. There's the rose of thorns on his head. Let's not forget that. And left up on a cross, guys.
Yeah, but also remember, Charles Heston gave him a drink of water, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. and then the submission ends with 1 billion people with their ass up in the air like Thracian catamites.
Correct. Yeah, this image of Golgotha away. And you know what I think? I think his last words were misconstrued. I don't think he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I think he was talking to them and saying, bitches, y'all have no idea what y'all have just done. Okay? Because Revelation is around the corner for you, and there's a whole list of shit waiting to happen to you.
You thought daddy was vindictive before this? Wait the next 2,000 years, bitches.
You read Revelation, anybody? Like, this is some dark stuff. Huh?
When is it supposed to happen? Like, because it wasn't when it was written, that was supposed to happen like 3 weeks later. And then like the timing's off all the time. It's been 2,000 years. Maybe it got it wrong.
Point well taken, but when it does happen, I'm out. I'm out, guys. I mean, I'll find some place to.
They are from the scriptures, which is very close to script. We're at the point now where people are trying to make it happen, so they feel better about themselves about a little book. See, it told it happened. It's like
it's even scarier than that. It's even scarier than that, Monty. It's like pure like gang warfare, right? And it always ends with blood in and blood out. So we haven't gone through the blood out yet.
Yeah. And it's fascinating, the Jewish religion, Christian religion, and Islam, it's all the same God apparently, but it's like Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek The Next Generation, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, all fighting over which is the better show.
Yeah.
I just want to know why is that it has to be so bloody. It's real bloody. There's no respite. There's no mercy anywhere, right? And the thing about it is that if you say that that is the same God for every religion, then you have to take into account that he just gets more bloody. Like if you say that Judaism is the oldest religion, one of the oldest religions, the more they update it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
The
What I
worse
love
it gets.
What I love, like you've got England and France who both follow God, and God is in their side, and they go into battles. Like, so if God's on both your side, obviously whoever wins, it's God's will. Yeah, I don't think that's the God I would like. Oh, today the French played well, but the English came back at the end.
Hi-yo.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That's really bad Photoshop. I know that's not Robert, but that's just freaky. His head is more in focus than the rest of the body.
So, because we have a unique religious crossover opportunity here, Bruce, I want you to give David a synopsis of who shall not be name's archetype and the types of battles you've had with him.
Oh, yes.
And Monty, you too, for a setup. Because this is a bigger setup and taking down the doom and gloomists.
Well, what has happened now is, as I see it, is that especially the Christian mindset, especially the variant that has, let's say, escaped quarantine in the United States, the evangelicals and stuff like that, it's really become a mind virus now. And to me, if you listen to them long enough, everything they're saying comes down to one simple spiritual aspiration. And it's hurry up and blow up the world, God, or I'm going to stop believing in you. And it's got to, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's where they're at. There's entire groups of people, and they're becoming increasingly paranoid and increasingly disturbed. Like, I'm not saying that there are not things going on in the world that are epic. There are. I mean, we appear to be in the midst of some form of massive change in the way we socially organize and the way we create economies of scale and things like this, and how we exchange with each other. And I mean, the only constant is change, right? And that's what these fossilized religions don't allow for. And I think the most dangerous thing about them is the very utility of prophecy as a tool. It really is kind of gang recruiting, right? Because it's power based. My God knows the future, and I can see the future, and and it alienates our own prophetic abilities so much by making them seem so rarefied rather than natural birthrights. So you get this very, very worked up. I'm getting pretty fucking far from funny here, aren't I? And there's the punchline. I'm getting pretty fucking far from funny here.
Remember, it's a comedy show, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Back to you, Bruce.
Yeah, so they're all wound up, man. They're ready to explode. I think it's an early form of psychic warfare, the Abrahamic scriptures, and it embodies all the worst elements of tribal warfare, right? And that's why it's having such a difficult time. Nobody's passing out any lubricant so it can squeeze into the Aquarian age. It's just like writhing on the floor.
Yep.
Yeah, I never understand the whole concept of like, I'm a God-fearing man. Why? What? Hey, you fear God? Like, why wouldn't you love God? Because like fear sounds like submission and like tyranny and all this
because
stuff.
It is.
Hey Monty.
Yeah, I know it is, but still.
Monty, back in the old days, you see all that chat that you're talking right now. God would have sent his bros across to you. They would march around your house 7 times, and your walls would come crashing down. So yeah, you gotta be a God-fearing man, right?
And that's why I don't like jazz. It's fucking horn players.
Look at it. Look at even the archangels. I mean, Archangel Michael or Gabriel, like fucking Nitty the Enforcer, Al Capone's enforcer. Yeah. I mean, it's like, fucking Gabriel's coming. Let's get the hell out of here. We're gonna make an example.
Scary. They are scary, scary creatures, right? So, and like once again, you diss him, like Lucifer said, well, I don't really think you should be doing this whole Earth and making man shit. And it's like, what? I'm sorry, did you disagree with me? Down.
Get out.
Down you go. Get out. Get out, all of it. Get out. Go to the deepest, darkest pit. And that was one of his preferred angels, right? Lucifer was an archangel as well. But then you got Michael, who's I want to say something, right? One, it is that you're following instructions to go and kill everybody in a town. Ezekiel 9, for those of you who are interested, 10, verse 10, right? You're getting instructions and you're saying kill the old people, the young children, anybody that disses me, write them off. What does that sound like to you guys? Come on, like really? Like kill everybody inside there. Like I'm like, you are a serious gangster. You are a serious gangster, and that was Michael, wasn't it? That went and delivered that.
But hang on, when you die, you go to either heaven or hell, and so if they end up in heaven, it's like, dude, what the fuck? Or if you end up in hell, it's like, Lucifer, you are correct. I'm on your side now. The story doesn't make sense. Like, you diss me, I'm going to kill you, and you create a monster. It's just like Luke. How about it's just like Luke in The Last Jedi, and that's the only time I use a positive reference to that fucking film.
How about hey Joseph? My bro knocked up this chick, and you're the father.
What? wait, okay, wait, what?
What?
Yeah. So,
Mary, we gotta talk.
My boss knocked up
kind of
this
scam
chick.
going on here.
My boss knocked up this chick, and guess what? We voted you as the father. So you're going to raise this guy, and he's going to be the savior of the world. And Joseph is like, but wait, I'm not sure I'm worthy. No, you're worthy. You're worthy.
You're worthy.
No, we know you're worthy. So you're going to raise him. And that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Any objections?
Not to mention, you're just going to be a footnote in history.
Yes. It's like any objections, Joseph? Any objections?
You'll be the most famous cockhold in history. But apart from that, you'll raise the thing.
And Joseph is like, no, I heard what happened to all the rest of the guys who had a question. So I have no questions, right?
Now, also remember that this can work out in a very positive way, because if you look at Carlisle and the Kent family, like the Ma and Pa Kent raised a beautiful boy, so it is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't have a enforcer angel rolling up to them and saying, "Oh, by the way, you're now happy parents."
Well, no, I mean, obviously it was a down spacecraft from a planet that just blew up. I mean, there's a slight difference, but I'm pointing out, if you give a super being to the right people, they can be raised correctly.
So let me ask you a question, since we're on the topic, because if you were not pregnant and then you were pregnant and it was immaculate conception, why aren't the feminists all up in arms about that? I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna say it because as the next group I'm going to. It's like, why are they up in arms about that? Because that would be the ultimate sexual assault, would it not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well, you can see what they're doing to Snow White. Yeah,
her too.
Yeah,
her too.
That's exactly me too. Her too. Exactly.
I'm not gonna say she got Weinstein's, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. So she now is carrying a child, and she's never really had sex, right?
Well, basically, he's saying that a Palestinian woman called Mary created the whole Christian, because she had an affair with a Roman soldier. Oh, it's God. It's immaculate conception. It's Joseph. We're blessed by the mighty God, and now we have 2,000 years later. So it's just a woman hiding her tracks.
Yeah, but why isn't that like stand out to all the Me Too movement and the Her Too movement? Because that she didn't consent to that. You go to sleep, you wake up, you're pregnant.
Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby has it a lot.
Actually,
She had the pudding.
The more I think about it, David, there probably are a half dozen theses in progress at various women's studies universities. We just haven't seen them yet.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Somebody's doing that in religious studies or something like that.
Yeah, because
why not?
Yeah, that's actually good. I need to check on the papers there because look at Krishna who had 1,000 wives. I mean, like my man, 1,000. 1,000.
Like if you're with one,
that's kind of a lot, yeah.
That's one good government job.
Right?
Yeah, and like if you're with one woman one night, that's still 3 years' work to go through the whole lot.
If I had to go through sexism in religion, that would be very easy. You got Mary Magdalene, I'm stoning you, but then Jesus saves her, right? Jesus saves her, but dig this. As a show of gratitude, she washes his feet. Ooh. Oh. And don't tell me you guys don't remember this stuff. Right? Well, she washes his feet.
No, not big into the religions. Like I know about JC, but apart from that, I only went to church and like this is weird, but never went. It's my family's not very religious. It's in the background. Bruce is probably more religious than I.
Well, I'm not religious, but I did study this stuff, and I'm telling you that it's some dread stuff. So you got this guy Shiva. He's the destroyer god. He comes at the end of the world, when the world is in a thing called Kali Yuga, right? And he's going to like destroy everything and all the bad people and stuff. There's a little bit of a story about him. You see, his wife used to shower, and she wanted a kid, and she made a kid out of clay, out of dirt. And Krishna came, and the kid stopped him. You can't go into the tent because my lady is bathing. So Shiva, sorry. Shiva decided, well, the only way for conflict resolution to happen is for me to cut your head off, right? Not realizing that was his son because his wife made this kid. The only way I'm going to just solve this by cutting your head off. So he cuts his head off. Of course, the woman comes out of the shower and she's like, oh, you just cut off your own son's head. Like, how thick are you? He says, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm a god after all. I can actually fix him. And so he says to her, the next creature that passes along, I'm going to take the head of that creature. Lucky creature, of course. I'm going to take the head of that creature and I'm going to put it on the body of the kid, and then everything will be good, right? Guess what happened to pass along? Come on. There's a very popular Hindu story. An elephant. He took the freaking elephant head and he put it on his son's head, right? Ganesha was born, the remover of all obstacles. These are the kinds of things that people read, and it gives them, if you don't have a mental issue, it's going to give you one. Yeah, understand me? If you don't have a mental issue, it's going to give you one, for sure, because the Bible is a whole long devolution into mental illness, right?
What I like is being in Australia, we have the oldest living civilization on the planet, and they have their dream, but everything's in dream time. So it's sort of, it makes more sense because it's not really on the 3D plane. It's all up in the, the astral and the 4D. And this is, I could be wrong, but this is by looking at all the other religions, it's like, that's nice. Like, Judaism, which is only 5,000 years old. The Aboriginal First Nations here have been around for 80,000 years. It's like, oh, isn't that cute? You've got a little religion. That's nice. Or Christian. Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of the popular religions. No,
I do look at the religions. I look at them objectively. It actually tries to. I think that I'm never going to be that religious person. I'm just never going to be, because common sense will always prevail, right? Right.
Are you new to the planet? No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works, really. Right, common sense should prevail.
Well, now it used to be mob rules, and now it's minorities rules, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, actually, we're seeing that a lot now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The crazy French has taken over. The inmates have taken over the asylum.
Oh no, just a certain wing of the asylum. It's not all the inmates. It's just a certain wing of the inmate. It's the psychotics that smear crap all over their walls.
Yeah, because I'm sure what we're doing here, somebody is offended. And I want you all to understand that I'll lose a lot of sleep over it. You know, I will.
Yeah.
I will.
I mean, he
I
used
will
to have
lose
hair,
a lot
but
of
he just
sleep.
pulls it out.
Somebody's going to be offended by even just us speaking like this, and I'm like, eesh.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Ayo.
I'm a big fan of human rights because I don't know, are we a race or a species? But like, you know, if you have noticed on camera, David and I look slightly different. I've shaved. That's basically it. And but we're both human. And so like any like trans rights or one-legged albino rights, it's like, well, are they human? Because that, they're under the umbrella. But when you start talking about human rights and they get attacked, it's like, you're missing the bloody point. It's like, but trans rights, well, let's just go to human rights where everyone is treated,
I got a
well.
question for you. Do you agree that transgender people should be competing against transgender men who've transitioned to women should be competing against women in the Olympics?
No.
I think that transgender women born male should be able to compete in sport in their own section, not against biological women. So
But
no,
why?
but
But why?
well, I judge people on skeletons.
You see, there you go again with that common sense shit, right?
Yeah.
There you go
And
with the
you
common
hated
sense.
you've been out thinking again, haven't you?
You've been out thinking for yourself again, haven't you?
You and your critical thinking. We don't like you critical thinkers, and when we figure out how to stop that, well, hang on, we'll have to critically think. Look, I know what you're doing.
Look,
But
honestly,
yeah.
honestly, these kinds of you can you imagine? And here's the funny thing: there was a woman who was genuinely, I forgot her name. She competed, but she looked like a man, and she was competing in I believe it was track and field.
Mm-hmm.
But her musculature was like, what the hell, right?
Yeah.
But she was born a woman. I got to get this story right, and she basically smoked the entire field, right? And then when they tested her, they found that she had a lot of testosterone running through her, right? But she's a full-fledged woman, and I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of like a toss-up.
It's just the common sense thing would be you have a male section of the sport, the female section of the sport, and then have an open. Just add more. No,
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, it's like a lot of in the lesbian community, they're being attacked because they won't accept the trans, not the full transgender women who have done that. Like, are you aware of a political commentator called Blair White?
No, but I've heard about her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Used to be a man. And she actually defends stop telling kids they can become transgender. Wait, But if you just if I just say, oh, I'm a woman now, there's a rapper called Zumbi, Zuby. He said, oh, I'm a woman now, and he broke the deadlift weight title.
Yeah, I heard about
England.
that.
Yeah, and he's very intelligent, but he was taking the piss. But it's challenging people. It's like, yeah, you're a man. Did you just assume my gender? And he just did it as a joke and put it up, and that started to help his career. And he's been on Joe Rogan, and he's very popular because he can. It's not just a one-off thing. That was just one joke. However, he's released 3 albums. He's got a podcast. Grew up in Saudi Arabia. African descent, and just very, very he's got this common sense thing, and his Twitter keeps blowing up as well because he keeps sharing. He shared 20 things I've learned in the last year, and Joe Rogan actually went through them on his show, and most of it's like, yeah.
What do you suppose is happened to this whole common sense thing? Is it that it's out of fashion? Is it the phase that we're going through? What's going on there?
The insane liberals got into the universities in about the 80s and 90s, and universities like, yeah, it's communism and socialism, and white man is. Wait, I'm getting in. My internet connection is unstable. All right. Obviously, the Skype god, the Zoom gods don't want me talking about this. It's just the idea of thinking that's coming out from these universities and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. Where, in a way, I heard Steve Hughes, the comedian, sort of explain it. It's where feminism got basically equality, because, like, oh, there's a pay gap. Well, that's illegal. If a woman's getting paid less for the same job as a man, you can take them to court. It's illegal to not pay them the same. But what they said, the train got to the station of equality, but the insane, batshit crazy, angry women, it's like, no, keep going, and they want more. And so they were given equality, but now they want to control. It's that whole flip. Where I'm a fan of first wave feminism. We want the vote. We want to treat equally. And then second wave of feminism. No, really, we want to be. And that was in the 70s. Third wave, put the crack pipe down.
Put the crack pipe down, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember when feminism used to be about equality?
I blame it all on sexual prosthetics. Huge advances in that field, Monty. Huge advances.
So I want to address David's question, the one that Monty just answered. So I think right around when the colleges were being taken over, late 90s, early 2000, where they were forced to upgrade past 700 megahertz computers. They had to go to 1.1, 1.2 gigahertz computers, and they put out those garbage Celerons, trying to tell everyone that it was a real chip when it really a Celeron processor wasn't. That is where the news medias got bought out. And if you look at the things, that's when all the big news medias got bought out under one major thing, the Time Warner deal, et cetera, et cetera. And they started a general broadcast of this is the left and this is the right, 24/7, 365 at an ever evolving polarized rate. While all the while people that were going to Ivy League schools were graduating with garbage degrees. That degrees that could mean they could make no money in business with.
I'm waiting for the punchline.
That is the punchline. That is the punchline. Okay, garbage degree. All the Ivy League degrees were garbage. And what came up on Zero Hedge today? All the Ivy Leagues. One of the articles. One of the Ivy Leagues. How many of the Ivy League schools degrees people graduate with worthless degrees?
Yeah, I've got a degree in gender studies. Well, listen, men, women. Well,
don't knock gender studies. I was the only man in my class of feminism. I went to study feminism. I absolutely did. It was funny as shit, however, because it's like you're kind of sticking out like a sore thumb inside here. So it was a choice, because in university at the time, it wasn't as bad as it is now. You could actually have a different opinion and not expect to be killed and have your life earnings and whatever taken away from you. You could absolutely expect to have a different kind of opinion. So we were in class and stuff like that, and I'm listening to the plight. It's kind of like some of the classes I took. I took a lot of liberal classes in my first degree, and everybody has to be angry about something, right? Right, and I'm David, so like, why be angry, man? Right? So the question was brought up by myself. If you guys are getting 3 meals a day, you're in school, your kids, why are you so angry? You're more angry than the actual people who actually were killed, lynched, beaten, whatever else, raped, etc. You're more angry than they are. And I'm like, no, that is anger hijacking. That's a lot of that going around. People are like hijacking other people's anger. I'm like, you need to chill out, right?
Mhm.
Y'all need
That's,
to chill out.
David, that's how you refine the luge. That's how you get that 100% pure luge.
Okay.
Because I just love seeing African Americans who are millionaires complaining about how they're oppressed.
Stop. What's even worse is when you're at a function, somebody may have said something that is offensive, right? Probably I'm from African origin originally. You guys can see that. But before I get to say anything, like correct that individual in a calm manner, before I say anything, some white woman is going to push me aside and say, I am so offended that you did that. I'm like, but no, that's my line. Let me get it on that action.
I'm not even offended. I just want to correct them. I'm not offended. No, shut up, black man. I'm defending you, black man. Shut up, black man.
I'm like, no, but no, I'm supposed to say that, right? And I'm looking at this woman with the vein popping out of her head, right? And I'm like, damn, she's really offended. I better keep quiet. Oh my God. Right? I'm like, you need to chill out. Right? So
calm down, Karen.
Yeah. And there's that. And they get offended at some of the, like, this new wave of intellectuals. I can't call them intellectuals. Bruce, you know what I'm talking about. They have a bunch of stuff that's on their mind. And instead of expressing it in a calm manner, they got to shout it to the top of the mountains. And I'm like, that's when you tell them, like Monty, put down the crack pipe. Because whatever you're upset about, it ain't that serious. Okay? What you think is serious, if you think something is serious, just freaking fix it calmly. Why does it have to be a huge display of anger and you're out in the streets and you're burning, like the students in Berkeley? You remember that? You remember that?
Yeah.
Why would you burn that school? Why? That school has been the bastion of liberal thought in California for decades. Why would you burn Berkeley?
Yeah.
But they set fire to Berkeley. I'm like, why?
Because they needed ratings. They needed ratings. The burning of Berkeley, when was that? 2014?
Andrew, these students burning Berkeley is the same as Christians getting upset and burning the cross. Okay?
I get it. I understand. David,
well, hey,
no,
wait, burning cross.
I'm referring to the Times because they were trying to force stories down our throats back then.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta go back to the generation of what that was and what they were trying to do to us, because they, what was going to come next was Trump. Come on, okay? They threw everything in the kitchen sink at the global narrative wall and nothing stuck. Even the burning of Berkeley didn't stick.
It took
what does that tell you? What does that tell you about our social engineered society?
Explain to me the concept of Antifa burning stuff.
Oh, you mean the anti-fascist group that act like fascists?
Uh-huh. Explain to me. What is to be accomplished by that? And
then nothing, because it's not sticking either. It's an entirely paid for organization, paid provocateurs from bottom to top.
I saw a post on Instagram from Public Enemy, and they refer to the insurrection on July 6th of all those white people who are trying to keep the white supremacists in control. And I'm like, what reality are you actually from? Like, really?
This is the reality in our world right now.
No, but what we're being shown by mass media is the stage play, not the reality on the street.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering how many people are in the center. Okay, because in the US, you have this right-left nonsense. I suppose it's all over the world, but y'all have labels for it. You call it right-left. So let me see if I get this straight. If I am loony, racist, hateful, etc., I will find an audience on the right side. However, if tomorrow I wake up and I want to screw a sheep or fuck a sheep, I would find a very liberal on the left side. Is that how that works?
Right. All the Scottish will be joining them.
Right. right. I could find a really cool one. And I'm like, this right-left nonsense. And here's the funny. In the Orient, you say too far east is west. Well, Too far left is right. You get my point?
That's right. Too far right is left.
Well, yeah,
And
they're
the
both
same way-
extreme, so it's like a horseshoe. They meet in the middle, and they're all fucked.
You know, 3 rights make a left.
So, Andrew, is it that there's a whole bunch of people in the middle who are just keeping silent? Or is it that the fringe elements are the shouting the loudest?
The
Both.
fringe elements are shouting the loudest, but they're being manipulated by social media and the news to be a mountain out of a molehill. And nobody else's movement can become a mountain out of a molehill because the media won't allow it, because
Yeah.
it's that controlled.
Because as far as the media is concerned, anger and violence and confrontation sells, right?
Here's an example. On my Facebook wall, you can go scroll in and you'll see a section where there's 128,000 people marching on the streets of London in early or mid-May. And it was reported the BBC cut off all the publications, shut off everything. So the whole world wasn't able to see the marches in London about anti-lockdown. Okay. And then there was a second march where there's like 380,000 people, and it was a complete media blackout. And then
You
we
and I
saw
were talking about that before.
yeah, and then we have a complete media blackout of what's going on in India, the farmer strikes that are still going on, and the people that are dying in their houses. 100% media blackouts, not allowing the truth of the story. Here's another one. Did you hear about the Seg Tower in Shenzhen, China? A 380 meter building, 380 meter building, shaking violently for no reason.
No, I didn't.
To the point
No,
where
but-
everyone they evacuated the building, and then they put out all these political statements saying everything is fine, nothing's wrong with it. They let everyone back in, and starts to shake again. They get everyone back out and they close it down for 2 weeks, and then they say it's all fixed, and people go back in and it's still shaking.
Yeah,
And
the
this
Chinese
building was
construction.
this was the pride and joy of their construction. This won World International Architecture and Construction Awards 25 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen those videos of Chinese construction, and you just pull a thread and half the wall comes apart because it's made
Yeah.
out of sand?
Yeah, well, that's in the past now. That hasn't they cracked that down hard on that, where it was a death sentence if you got caught.
Oh, good.
That fixed it quick.
Nice one, Robert. Nice.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's hilarious. I have seen some stuff when it comes to the way the media spins stuff. They get off on ratings, the ratings, but what they actually are trying to do is divide people and make people angry. Andrew, you and I had a discussion about that earlier today.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna be very careful because our YouTube overlords and our Facebook overlords, who knows what they're looking for. So I'm going to say that Andrew and I had a discussion earlier today about getting stuck in the arm.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, say no more.
Right?
Look at my magnet. Yeah, go, yeah.
All right. And we had this discussion, and my main grouse is that you are setting up a situation where you have people either on one side of that spectrum or the other side of the spectrum, but we know we're going to make life difficult for you on that side of the spectrum. Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, the way the government's like, oh no, you don't have to take it, but if you do, you'll be able to get government payments, you'll be able to travel, you'll be able to go to restaurants, be able to go blah 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 blah. It's like, that's coercion, you stupid twat.
It is, and it's
Exactly. That's coercion.
I'm just going to quote a few. Look, Andrew and I had this discussion. I said, one of the companies that make the thing that goes into your arm that creates this sense of safety. Right?
David, the heuristic is paying. The heuristic is paying attention. The algo is paying attention to you, David. Is like,
Right?
Are you talking in code, David?
So one of the companies has a horrible, horrifying reputation. When I did Masters in Law and Business, we had to study that company. That company sent a whole bunch of families, right? A bunch of an untested medication This is a real story. I implore the people who are listening to this to actually check up on what I am saying. This company, one of the major companies that produces the magic juice, right? Sent this wonderful drug to Africa and Nigeria because they couldn't get it passed in the US, and they wanted it to it in circulation. This drug was supposed to be treating meningitis. Okay. Now, what happened was that so what happened was that 293 families tested this drug on their kids, right? The side effects were horrific. Kids went blind, kids can't walk, etc. They sued that company, right?
Mhm.
They sued that company. The settlement was $7 million, which for that company is like saying, like the tithes, you could put that in a church basket, okay, for this company. So if you knew the story, you wouldn't want any product of that company in your arm. You wouldn't.
And this is the different company that because there's one company that their baby powder was cancerous. That's a different company, isn't it?
No, that's a different company.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'm like, they have horrible reputations in law, but nobody ever knows about this stuff because those kinds of stories never see the light of day, which is what Andrew was talking about. Okay. Their stories don't see the light of day because they sue them in court, and what the companies do, they pay people to black that stuff out. Okay, so you can find it on the internet if you're actually searching for it, but it's not something that's stuff. So when they were talking about this magic juice and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you're making that? I don't trust you.
Yeah,
you're making that. I don't trust you.
And instantly you're an anti-vaxxer. And it's strange, like, because I walk into the battlefield that is Twitter and have fun, let's be fair. There's a lot of people that are totally vaccinated up until before the lockdowns kicked in, but they use critical thinking, and it's like, well, I'm not really sure about this rush through juice. And the media just labels them anti-vax. It's like, there are people that like, no, I follow medical science. I believe in medical science. I've done it all my life. I'm a bit dubious about what is being rolled out now, but the media's got its agenda and it's trying to hold the story, and any opposition to the government rollout, you are basically Satan.
So Monty, I happened, and Bruce, you might want to listen in on this part, because I actually went on a website for a North American country. There are only two of them, so that kind of narrows things down. So
not Mexico, yeah.
No, it's not Mexico. All right, I went to a North American website, and on the website, the government is doing something very sneaky that only somebody who has some kind of legal training will actually pick up. I will explain. So you fill out this form, and you fill out this form, right? And you try to make an appointment to get this magic juice, right? Except at the end of the form, it asks you to read the safety and science data, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand this setup. I understand this setup because what it does, it sets you up to give away liability. It's a liability waiver, okay? Yeah. Which they don't really need, but it is backing themselves up, right? Because if you made that appointment online, right, and you check the box that says, I have read XYZ, ABC, and then you go ahead and you make that appointment, that is on you. That is completely on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've noticed that as well. Let me first start by saying this comedy show has gotten pretty far afield from funny. And
it's long form setup. That's
I had a joke 10 minutes ago, but I couldn't find a moment to throw it in there. I was going to say, hey, this comedy show's getting pretty unfunny. Who can make some hay with dead native children in Canada?
Yes. Oh, really? Really, Bruce?
Well, actually,
Yes, there we go. Now we're
I can. Do you know right now, Bruce? Do you know right now that Christian churches are really on fire right now in Canada? Just putting it in.
Yeah, I channeled my inner Norm MacDonald there. We're both born in Ottawa. That's a classic Norm line.
Yeah. And it's not too early to use that joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to beat Norm. He'll have it out by tomorrow night somewhere on YouTube. But
it's interesting, like this whole thing of like, oh, they're attacking Christians, and I'm sort of 50-50 where most of them are nice except for their weird thing of their God's right. But on the other side, I come from where the Vatican is completely a cesspool of evil. So I'm 50-50, like Christian groups of people that get along well together and help each other, good. Systematic control from the church, bad.
Monty, you realize you're saying this with a Lamb of God poster clock thing.
Yep.
Right.
And if you listen to the band, you realize they're not Christian. They used to be called Burn the Priest. So at least, their first band name was Burn the Priest, and then they decided to change it to Lamb of God. It's a bit more marketable.
Yeah, Bruce, can I tell you what's happening? Well, you know what's happening in Canada, right? There's a lot of sorries going on, even for Canadians. That's a lot of sorries, man.
I'm sorry. So
a lot of sorries, man.
I was talking to a buddy of mine in Canada. He's a full-blooded Mohawk and a well-known native artist in North America and Europe, and the nephew of a really effective Mohawk protester in the early part of the millennium, a guy named John Boncourt. He's this Mohawk dude, and incredible life. He was one of the leaders at the age of 19 of the big prison riot at Attica. And he became kind of famous for that, but he came back to Canada after his prison sentence and settled. But so I was talking to his nephew, Rath. I said, Rath, what's going on with these native bodies? He says, Bruce, I don't know. The elders used to tell us not to eat from certain apple trees because the children were buried underneath. We've known for generations the bodies are there. Why are they unearthing them now in 2021? And this is the macabre art of the controllers. It's like, it's sociopathic when you think about it, but they're constantly trying to take people beyond the point of rational discourse to get them into pure emotion, and then just start burning shit, right? And that's the beginning of the reset. So it's a program, and people should be able to see it for what it is. And I was happy to learn that the most intelligent person I know in Native activism in Canada could see through it. And he said most of the people he was dealing with could see through it as well. So it's a different, my point in bringing this up is it's a different plan for every country. Okay. So, there's a divide and conquer plan for every country. And Monty, are you seeing this going on in Australia now? Are they starting to, bring issues related to UNDRIP, the United Nations Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous Persons, which if you take the time to read it, is the prelude to a massive land repatriation to the natives, under the fiduciary system of the Crown. So they're just going to change their favorite straw man. That's it.
Well, the one thing out of that, and if any Australians are in the chat, you can help me out with if you've seen other stories. But now Australia Post, which is the postal service here in Australia, hence the name. There's now spaces on the addresses for the traditional names to have it. So instead of Surrey Hills, you can have Wurundjeri or whatever it is. I live in Nuttawatting, so there's no change there. But there's sort of Australia is very special because we don't care about politics because they're all idiots. And yet they're still in control. So not as much because we're still going through lockdown shenanigans where Victoria's easing restrictions. But, they can let one person in that is apparently infected and the whole routine kicks off again. Sydney apparently is going through its Melbourne phase at the moment. They're locked down in for another week because of cases. There's no deaths, no ICU, no nothing like that, because it's the evil Delta variant, which is completely weaker from the original
Hi-yo.
one. Yeah, apparently we've got the Lambada variant in Australia as well. So
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know, the next strain. It's getting to the point
used
where
to be a
it's like,
dance.
yeah, but it's the Greek alphabet because due to racism, now the variants are named after the Greek alphabet because you can't say the Brazil variant or the English variant because that's racist.
No, soon the Omega variant is coming.
Yeah, and then we go back to the Alpha and the Omega. It's God.
Yes, it's the Alpha. It is a time traveling virus.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to say, can we have a quick Galactic Historian update on the? It's so hard. Like, the COVID. It's like, you mean the karmic resolution time traveling disease, and they look at you blankly. So, can you give a quick update on what's going on? Because I know the original ones obviously died out, but you've got all these variants.
Hallelujah. There you go.
Everybody knows the dice are loaded, Robert. Everybody knows.
Guys, you gotta think that no one gets out of this life alive anyway, right?
Yeah, that's always in the back of my thinking. I agree completely.
Technically, Jesus got out of this life alive. Come on.
Yeah.
According to who?
That was a serious hack, though. How is that right? All right.
So quick before it gets lost into the many
Mulligan. I'm calling Mulligan right there. He didn't like the lie. He kicked that ball 6 inches. He didn't like the lie.
What's the update on the time traveling karmic resolution disease?
So I'm gonna use this the metaphor of the boardroom again. We've had the change in the boardroom. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The CEO, COO, CFO, etc. So we're going to use that reference. So the CEO and the COO have been replaced. Okay. So we have one as a CFO is still the lizard that's got all the Cook Loosh books. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's decrypting all the Loosh books down in Hollow Earth. Now the CEO has given the research team the mandate to patent this virus, and they believe if they can make a universal patent, they can stop it by labeling it as their creative life force under their holographic. It's a higher spiritual court. They're trying to put something to a higher spiritual court.
Okay, because COVID has left the planet, hasn't it?
Yes, it has left the planet, has actually gone over galaxies too. Wherever there are humans, there is COVID.
Oh, great. So, when I get free of this planet and go out into the galaxy, I have to explain, it wasn't me.
But when we end it here, COVID simultaneously ends everywhere else.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's handy. All right, continue on.
We're the species that farts in the elevator, Monty.
Yes.
It wasn't me, but smell that.
We fart in the galactic elevator. Yeah. Okay, so he's given the mandate to try to patent it. So they're going to attempt to go to a universal court to basically, you must see the COVID as each individual strain of a being from a time travel, timeline genocided reality is trying to get back in, and you're using COVID as the karmic resolution process to get in. So it's an immigration status into the reality higher court battle that's being set up. Okay, as above, so below. Now, on the CFO side, the lizard wizard that owns the cooked books is beginning to have a I Love Lucy, you have some splaining to do moments.
Shitting bricks. Yeah.
Yes. And the new risk management team that has come in has changed all the rules for investing and selling blood loosh, like blood diamonds. And they're beginning to now label what's normal harvested loosh versus ill-gotten gains like narco loosh. Right?
Yeah. Interesting.
And there's going to be a big reset on loosh values, galactic wide.
As we go to the galactic commodities market, loosh
so
is
there's going to be a lot of people shorting galactic loosh.
Ooh, so like the silver market here.
Yeah.
Everyone buy physical loosh. That will fuck up the program.
So I have this really unlucky friend who is considering, taking this magic juice, loosh, right? There's she's very unlucky. She's the only one who I've ever known in my life who was driving a vehicle, and this is some real shit. I wouldn't have believed it unless there were witnesses. Over 50 kilometers per hour, a bee flew into the vehicle and stung her on her hand, which was on the steering wheel, and she's allergic to bee stings. Now, you have to have a special level of bad luck for this to happen. Andrew, should I tell him the rest of the story?
Yes.
Okay, so
my first thought is, what did you agree to in the womb?
Yes, but there's more. She has broken a limb 5 years in a row, every year. On one of these occasions, she fell and broke her left arm and her right leg.
Okay.
On one fall.
On
So
a flat surface. But wait, there's more. Her father-in-law died earlier this month, right? Cremated and so on. I kind of hosted the Zoom funeral, which is why I scared all of y'all with the picture of the Indian man, right? You remember that, right? Yeah.
So yeah, her father-in-law died a few weeks ago, and wanting to be a good person, she took his wife and traveled. Right? They're in quarantine. Everything is fine. They're in a hotel room. They're going to be quarantined because they haven't taken the magic juice. And the woman ups and dies in the hotel room where they are. That would be the wife. We're talking about the same person. So I want you guys to explain to me, like what sort of prayers, like what needs to happen here, right?
Someone needs to learn the lessons that universe is putting forward to her, or she's a nexus point, and she's fucking up the timeline everywhere she goes.
Karma is a cosmic sewing machine. It never misses a stitch.
No, it's amazing. But a broken bone 5 years in a row is a whole new level, huh? Getting stung in a moving vehicle by a bee that flew into the vehicle. That bee was waiting for you.
There's more weird things that have happened on the planet. I mean, look at all the people that...
Really?
Yes, how many people that are connected to the Clintons that all accidentally died? I mean, 62 people all worked and they all committed suicide or had accidents.
They knew the contract when they signed on, Monty. Let's not mourn them.
Well, yeah, that's in the Clinton contract.
Dead,
you may die, it's not us.
Dead native children, Monty. Dead native children.
Hey, I'm from Australia. I know about that. We have the stolen generation.
So yeah, you guys are going to hit yours pretty soon. Maybe you need a change of federal government, but the program's just waiting there to be.
It's setting up in Australia right now.
Yeah, it's in the cloud now. The next government's going to download that as an operating system.
Well, see, at the moment we've got NAIDOC Week, which I can't remember what that means, but it refers to the First Nations. It's a week of pointing out, Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders, the custodians of the country before the white man came and ruined it. The English aren't getting their bond back. I'm just putting it that way. What they've done to the country, like, what the hell are you people doing? So I think they'll wait. They'll wait till the end of the week for all that stuff.
You should go out to the outback with a Bible and a cross and claim it
again.
Do it official this time, Monty. Do it official.
In 1988, a Aboriginal elder went to the United Kingdom and with an Aboriginal flag in full traditional garb, not Dover because they're cliffs, but on a beach, he claims the United Kingdom for the Aboriginal civilization. It was a nice gesture. it was a stunt. He knew what he was doing, but it wasn't like, no, this is ours now. But he was just pointing out the fact of like, well, you did this to us 200 years ago, so I'm going to do it to you now to make a point.
Wow. Never a dull
Yeah,
moment.
that's what I find. Like, all white people are bad. It's like, well, actually, no. It's the elite of the British that are complete vaginas. They're the ones you actually hate. Everyone else, not our fault. I don't remember invading Australia. I flew here in 1974. So
Yes, but they used to use that place as a prison, right?
no, well, you could say we still do.
Yeah, right. Right. They used to use that place as a prison, right? If you were a bad British person, go to Australia. So don't blame the white people in Australia.
They don't call them cities in Australia. They call them blocks. Monty's in Melbourne block.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Australia was used as a penal colony in Lemuria or Mu or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard someone say that, like, yeah, it's got that energy feel.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people, in terms of how they processing how things are going right now in the world, they're like, oh, things are going to happen. We know that they're happening, but they go into this numb state. What do you think that's about?
Element of fear, like the whole lockdown that's going on. They've tapped into that primal fear, and that's where, like, 12, 15 months ago, it was like, oh, we may all die, but now after 15 months, it's like, really? They're still pushing this shit? Go ahead.
I think the Joker nailed it in that bedside chat with Harvey in The Dark Knight. Yeah. You tell people there's a plan, and nobody. The thing that's going on now is the change. People are starting to see a change that is beyond the scope of our governing systems. So this is what we would call real change. It's not a manufactured change. It's not a contrived change, as most of them have been since the 20th century, and it's terrifying to people because they have to recalibrate their cosmology. The government's not God. I mean, just take a moment and feel it. Just the empathy for the entrained libtard, the far left, bastion of social righteousness and justice. I mean,
through government. Yeah. Social righteousness through government.
Absolutely. And, the cultivation of this unique form of consciousness, and there's a generational seeding of this now, not the whole generation, but it's unique to I would say America and the Commonwealth, at least the Five Eyes. It's a very, very unique cultivated. It's a laboratory culture, is what it is. It's not. Go ahead, Monty. I'm stifling you, Monty. Make it funny, Monty. Be funny, Monty.
Be better than dead Indian babies.
Yeah. Oh, geez, tough call. But have you noticed that, like in Europe, they're actually pointing out the American wokeism. They're trying to stop it to getting into Europe. It's like America has, some Americans, we don't have a woke problem, and then Europe's going, yes, you do. Keep it away from us. Just like even the French, we do not need this American wokeism in liberalism ruining the entire country, the whole continent. I find that.
Notice that work is a past tense. It's in the past tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
they're labeling themselves, right?
Yeah.
They're labeling themselves because probably you were awake, but now you just woke. Right?
I call them self-licking ice cream cones.
Self-licking ice cream cones.
They always have their own ice cream. They're always happy that one day there's no more ice cream. Then they're a sad worker. They're not a light worker anymore. They're a pity party worker.
When will the light working community come into the light themselves? It's
That's a very good question.
All right, because you could be a light worker, but you're totally in the dark doing light work.
No, they're in the red light district.
Yeah, they're
Or
in the
green
lower
light
spectrum of
district.
light.
Exactly. They're in the lower spectrum of
My
light there.
biggest problem with a lot of people who do light work and so on, it's like they're so cookie cutter. They say the same things, they act the same ways. They're just doing what they think other people think light workers are.
Exactly.
And I'm like, it's like, you wanna try some originality for a change? Say something different.
And then
right?
I like certain ones. I'll name drop Bashar, not the leader of Syria. I like how the information works, where it's like you ask him a question, he gives an answer, but you have to figure out what he means, and it's a personal answer as well. So it's like, oh, come on, please hand me the secret to life. And Bashar's like, no, here's something that may help you. Find out for yourself. And I think that's the other problem as well. People don't want to actually engage in critical thinking or facing their fears or doing the work, as Andrew would say.
That's right.
People don't want to do the work. They want it to be handed to them. And they get upset because we've got that, squirrel, a small attention span, basically.
Squirrel, well, tell me about the squirrel. Wait. Oh, this we must only know about the squirrel. Wait, what was that before the squirrel?
What squirrel?
Exactly. What squirrel? Why do you keep bringing up squirrels? Why do you keep bringing up squirrels?
Well, actually, one of my sponsors for Planet Collingwood is SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Let your rodent defend you. The way of the squinger.
What?
So he teaches squirrels ninja, and so they become squingers. So home
Squirrels
security.
don't need to learn ninja. Have you seen what they can do? Yeah, have you seen what they?
Yeah, but they've got really cute uniforms.
Oh, you put a squirrel in the. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god. So basically, and you give them a little obstacle path that they. Have you seen these things on Facebook where the squirrel challenges the obstacle course to get the nuts and so on?
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of those. Are awesome.
Yeah.
One of my best movie scenes is from the movie The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy.
Hi-yo.
There's a running sort of gag of these squirrels keep stealing from the rubbish cans or the trash cans.
Raccoon.
Raccoons. Yeah, rodents. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That some of their dialogue's hilarious. I can't remember. It was like, what? These people eat like shit. Yeah, I know. Number 5's got better food.
I have seen a lot of this stuff on Facebook where people are trying to. Oh, nice, Robert. Really? Now that's some scary shit. Can you imagine?
Oh, I'm from Australia. We have drop bears. Just basically evil koalas. So it's funny when people say a koala's dangerous. They could be, but they get high off the eucalyptus leaves, so they're completely bent out of their gourd 24 hours a day. But they've got claws that can rip out your heart in 3 seconds. But they're completely
it's a bear.
stoned.
Yeah, people forget.
It's not a bear.
Monty.
Well,
it's a bear.
Allegedly, I don't think they're just called koalas, not a koala bear. So
and name only, Bruce.
Yeah,
they're bears.
Yeah,
this is not like the Great Canadian Outback. I've been to Saskatchewan. Bears look a lot different from that. Okay, they look a lot different than that, and that's why most people in Saskatchewan have rifles. Okay.
But yeah, that is a killing machine. But because he's a complete stoner, he's just hungry all the time. So he eats more leaves and gets high. So yeah, that works.
I wish everybody would follow the example of the koala. The koala should be everybody's totem animal. Right there, right? Because I'm thinking of all the ism and schisms in the world and so on. Especially, like, can you imagine if you just got a whole bunch of eucalyptus leaves?
The koala philosophy. No, we all have our eucalyptus leaves and just sit in a tree for 18 hours, like, or a weekend, man.
But my plan is a little bit more direct than this. You get a bunch of eucalyptus, tons and tons of that stuff. put it into a C-130, you fly it over the continent, and you drop the eucalyptus leaves everywhere.
I could use your help on a business plan, David. I could use your help, actually.
Right? You drop the eucalyptus leaves everywhere, right? And then all of a sudden you see a change in world order and world government. It's like you got the terrorists. The terrorists is like, we really should go blow up some infidels, but yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Right?
Have you seen the Mel Brooks film History of the World Part 1? They that's how they get away from the Romans, because not Gregory Peck, Gregory Hines, awesome comedic actor. He sees a bunch of marijuana growing on the side of the road, and I need some paper, and they give him like paper this long, and he makes a mega joint, and they light it, and they run off, and the Roman soldiers are running behind it, but they're all about, I wanna. Do you want to dance? And everyone's just really high, and good times.
Roman red.
Yeah, exactly.
Roman red.
No one knows this. No one knows the potential of this stuff. But
So
I
I
like
I want to turn to politics for a second.
Hi-yo.
Hi-yo, here we go. So we have a crazy of crazies of the crazies of the crazies going on in politics right now. You know, is Biden alive? Let's ask that to the panel first. Is he alive or is he dead?
Who? Huh? Where am I?
Joe?
What?
Beach, fish,
Yeah,
man. Every day. Joe Biden.
We all knew that this man, when he got into power, we all knew. He may have been a good vice president because he was silent. But we know that if he stands around too long, birds will start landing on him, and you know that.
Yeah.
You know,
well, only the dumb. Yeah, only the dumb ones, because the real birds are like, don't go near that guy. Do not go near that guy.
And
hey,
they're not.
Come on, man.
They're not grooming his vice president at all. She's totally totally not presidential material. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, that's another sponsor of Planet Collingwood. It's the Kamala Harris knee pads. If you need to get ahead in life, use these knee pads.
They will protect your knees while you're getting ahead.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump for president.
Yeah.
Gump.
Exactly. So
let's see where that gets us.
I've asked this question before. You know, did you foresee 2021 turning out the way that it has for those last 7 months? Most people are saying no.
Everything.
I'll say, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I said yes. I'm going to say yes.
Everything except the oregano, Andrew. Everything except the oregano.
All right. Okay. So what's going to happen in the next 6 months?
Fine.
What's going to happen in the next 6 months?
The next 6 months, you want my prediction, or you guys want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first because I've got a short one. I've got not a stock answer, but I just came up with it yesterday. I think it was off air, so I'd like to share it now. I don't think the insanity will intensify, but we seem to be going through the 32 flavors of insanity, because it's like we're energetically we're the same level, but things keep changing, but at the same time. They're trying to kick the can down the road, but they're kicking the can into a wall instead of down the road. It's like, okay, July, this choc chip this month, and then August will be blueberry, and so it'll be the same but different.
Okay, my prediction is the following. They have put fear into the public, so it's been one long 2020 for a lot of people, and it's losing its effectiveness over people. And what I see is that there are a lot of people who are just disregarding these rules and stuff anymore. But the control mongers are going to want to maintain that control because there is money in control. And so before long, they're going to find a way to try to maintain some of this control in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Because what they've learned is that when you have a situation which is unprecedented like this, there's money to be made. And once you get a taste for that stuff, I can tell you, because I've been in corporate, once you get a taste that a disaster or any kind of thing can bring you money, it doesn't matter. You want that money back again. You're gonna try it. You're gonna try something. So I think they're gonna try one last ditch at milking that cash cow that they have going, and I think people are going to react really badly to it. I don't think it's going to get any worse, but I think people are going to lose their freaking shit if they try anything else. I think people are going to lose their shit.
It's like a this sort of background tension energy, and it's like, especially in Australia, it's like fucking one more. Oh, well, very Australian. One more thing, and then something happens. All right, one more thing, and then something happens. Maybe one more thing, but it's because we're never built. The country's never built on rebellion or revolution, but it's Australian spirit to kind of be a bit of a larrikin and rebel like that. But it's the closest I've sort of in my lifetime. There's that fuck this attitude.
Hi-yo.
Hello. Will you stop saying hello? You interrupt everything with your hello. Hello to you. Hello. Hello. Hello.
You want to know what's funny? What else is funny? They try to create this divide between the unmagic juiced people and the magic juiced people.
Oh, apartheid,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. They try to create this division, but I think it's gonna really, really backfire. The reason why it's gonna backfire is because people can only take so much shit. Right.
So David, your prediction is something will trigger the backfire, whether it's accentuated control.
Well, it's actually if they try to extend the control,
they are. It's just a matter of when they're going to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah,
and
but I think people have had enough.
Will the marketing be good or not? Because the last time their marketing sucked.
It did. Yeah. It really did. It really did.
Yeah,
so
the
Bruce,
analogy
Bruce,
that,
hold on. Let's get Bruce get his prediction in here.
Well, for 2021?
Yeah, the rest of 2021.
Well, I'm going to be very taciturn, okay? I'm going to be very detail-orientated rather than cosmic. I think that the evictions are going to begin, and I think that the fiscal year always ends in the fall, or its biggest upsets always happen in September and October. Something about the kids going back to school, I don't know. But it's the traditional harvest season, right, if you go back to the Celtic cycles. And so the modern economy is, I think, very druidic in that way. So there's going to we're going to begin to see consequence at the end of 2021. What percentage it starts at, I don't know. I don't want people to start going, Snake Plissken. But there's going to be some consequence, and it's going to add to the escalating tension. And the tension is just going to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and it's going to go right through 2022. And I think it's the beginning of a vetting process that begins psychologically. And if you're going to make it, you got to make the psychological journey first, and then it gets physical after that. So I think 2021 begins a lot of hardship for people, right? And we're going to see some kind of action as it pertains to the government financial bailout. As it regards COVID, because the United States has not officially endorsed the reset yet. And so now we're going to start to get the reset negotiations from their side, which are going to be pain and suffering. That's how they negotiate, right? They get you to consent, but they get you, it's a kind of a leveraged consent. So, and then, you got all the crazy Q-tards and everything talking about Gump coming back, but I don't see that happening. And I'm not sure it would resolve much if he did. Right? What can you do now? It's a runaway train, man. How you can't. What are you going to do? Drop a conductor in from a helicopter? It's out of control, right? It's a runaway train. You got to route it onto a dead track so it hits the side of a mountain, and then what happens?
It's very. I've sort of mentioned over the last year. We're flipping from controlled chaos to actual, like natural chaos, and I think that's what quintessential they. Are freaking out because they're losing control of. They like to control everything, even in chaos. But the chaos seems to be they're losing grip on chaos, and we're kind of seeing that.
Yeah, they can't control their own narrative. There is no controller of this narrative now, and this is why it's real. And this is what is beginning to dawn on people, because everybody who's 3 or 4 generations into this industrial revolution mind reshaping of the modern first world consciousness has a little voice at the back of their skull now that's trying to tell them, You've been on an artificially unfolding timeline, or it's been dropped through technology advancements, and then you're about 3 to 4 decades behind. But they kind of lost the blueprint now, and it's out of control. And when this sets into people, in certain people, it's going to generate extreme self-responsibility and a spiritual leap forward, and other people are just going to go crazier and disintegrate.
Yeah, but on the economic scale, this unprecedented time, what it has done from an economic point of view is firmly locked the divisions between the classes, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, didn't the numbers come out that the general public lost $3 trillion, but the billionaires made $3 trillion? It was a basic and shift. It's like, you got to sort of squint your eye at people like, you made money during the pandemic.
Yep.
Something. Yeah.
Yep. I used to do work for a company who had their biggest in their entire 26-year history. Right, they had their biggest revenue during that. So it's not looking good. Correct. During this time, right? And we're talking about billions of dollars here. So I'm like, this is not whether you want to be naive and you say that all of this is just conjecture, what we're saying, or whatever the case may be. The evidence, the economic evidence, is there that the pandemic has been really good for certain people. It's just been really good. And if you are those people, then you wouldn't want necessarily the control to end. You just wouldn't. So
I've been thinking about it as well from that perception and that angle, David, and it does have all the hallmarks of the 2008 subprime mortgage fiasco, which this is at the financial level, we're being fleeced here. There's a because governments are being mandated. What is one of these vaccines worth per unit? Does anybody know the cost per unit?
Not sure, but Australia with AstraZeneca, they have a $5 billion contract with them, and they actually have not allowed the information to come out because it's national security, which basically which is code for we've fucked up really bad and we don't want you to know.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't find the governor anymore, right? The gate is sealed at the presidential palace all over the world. There's nobody running the train, man. And this is the message that's being sent to people.
I could pretty much tell you that when it comes to the manufacture of vaccines, once you get the correct formula, what you can do, producing them is not as expensive as the most expensive part of magic juice creation is getting it passed through the FDA, which they didn't have to worry about this time. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
It's not the production, because India was pushing out AstraZeneca at 5,000 units every hour or whatever. Just imagine that. Okay.
Yeah. I've forgotten, but Andrew, what potentials can you see? Because I had a point, but I can't remember now. So go ahead.
So for me, between now and the end of July, we're going to have a semi-stock market scare. So over the last couple of weeks, they've been saying stock market drops, it rebounds back the next day. Bitcoin's going to drop. Bitcoin drops a tremendous amount of money, and the next day it's back up again. Okay, so we're going to have another semi-stock market scare. And then in August, mid-August to mid-September, we're best set up for another major cyber attack on a major industry.
Yep.
Okay. And then after that, they're going to do the COVID scare in October. Now, if they can't make the COVID scare stick past Christmas, they know that they've lost the COVID battle, and it'll have to be a different form of bribery to keep them in power.
Yeah.
Because are they going to control a second Christmas? Because this is going to be narrative control. Now, what happens if the cyber attack hits a vaccine distribution company? Oh, okay. What if there's a cyber heist of vaccine while in transit?
Then you're going to blame it on the anti-vaxxers and everybody will hate the anti-vaxxers.
That could be very much in potential right now.
Yep.
Very much in potential, which would then benefit the stick in the arm metaphor.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to say.
That's what I see. Am I wrong? I have no idea. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm looking at the moods of what I feel. But there's also sub-stories that support the fear-mongering level for this to thing. Like without the proper stock market scale, like I watched a video back about the original 2008 meltdown, the days of it, and the largest point drop ever in the 2008 scandal was a 778 point drop in one day.
Improbable.
Okay, today it would have to be like 2,900 points to be equivalent.
Yeah.
The stock market was a little over 13 or 14,000 at that time. It's now what, 30,000, 32,000?
Yeah.
Right. It's
And
that much overinflated. Now we've also had a lot of rumblings from the China digital currency thing going on, and they're not taking that on. Okay.
Yeah.
Could the hack hit the China digital currency? Who knows? Could it hit Bitcoin? Who knows? The hack will have cascading effects though.
Yeah.
You know, they've set us up for it. And then they just had an international, cyber hacking conference where they talked about the potentials of it. And every time they do one of those, something actually happens just afterwards.
Yeah, it's strange that. Yeah. What I find fascinating, I remember what I was thinking. CNBC had an article saying that during inflation, when there's inflation, it's good because there's higher wages. And so you've got the element of the media fucking up everything that like they can have one article. That was the headline. The positive thing about inflation is that everyone gets higher wages.
No, that is not true. And that's
I know.
That's like wow. You gotta love them.
This is the level that we're at, where like I can see where Andrew's coming from with the potentials, but you can have like we could say divine, but some idiot puts out an article that level of stupid, and it smashes the illusion because everything is so brittle stupid as well. But
right, as soon as Netanyahu was out of the picture, the Iran civil war in the Middle East being centric for another 5 years has gone away. And that was a major victory for the global narrative to get Netanyahu out of the picture.
Well, yeah, because they want the global narrative.
Weren't they just blowing up the media buildings in Palestine 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay, weren't they bombing everything and killing children? Well, it's done now. Nothing's going on.
Yeah,
all's quiet there.
Because to kick the can down the road, you got to be stuck in a loop, and you want the perception of war, like he should not be named, and it's not Voldemort. I can say Voldemort. It's the other one I'm scared about. Where for 5 years, Iran. That's the other thing as well. I said to Andrew yesterday that whatever happens, at least one person is waking up per day because they're not falling for the bullshit, and just even basic pattern recognition where. It's like, Israel, Iran's got nuclear weapons. Even if they do, they're not going to use them. But my point is that what's the joke that I said? They're running from a playbook from 1643. And then Andrew said, yeah, and you can find that on the internet. They're still running the same ideas.
Right.
And people are going, well, hang on, again. And it's the same thing. Like I had a thought earlier this morning. Can anyone tell me in the last 40 years that politically we've been in a good, how I like it. I'm going to take on what Bruce says, how Gump said, let's make America great again.
Gump!
Not disrespecting Mr. Gump, but when was America great? Because you can go through like the last 8 presidents. They've always been
68. There was an 8-minute window in 1968.
It was a Wednesday in August. Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
So, but there's always problems. There's always there's trouble. And there's so much work to do. Even like going back to Abraham Lincoln. Go ahead.
So the poor Abrahamics have been kicked off the gloom and doomer team. Okay.
Yeah.
If Netanyahu got out, the poor Abrahamics are going to be the center of the end of the world.
Poor bastards.
That's,
It was a
that's
tight,
it.
tight narrative for them. I'm sorry to see them lose it.
Yeah. And we are, as Andrew said, we're one cat video away from freedom. And I almost saw, well, I saw a video that almost could have done it. It was like a 9-month-old baby. Yeah, it was less than 1 year old. And I'm not gonna assume its gender, but it was sleeping next to a cat and they were hugging, and it was so cute. It's like, oh, I can see the potential. Like, if you get the right, this video is like a precursor to the freedom video of just a cat, and because they were, doing the sleeping thing, and they would keep hugging each other, and it was good.
Yeah.
See, once again, proof we are one video away, one cat missing a jump video away from the whole world going, ha ha.
Yeah. Yes, Jimmy, this is a comedy show. It's long form setup. That's what it is.
So I had a total brain fart. Ah!
Well, that happens all the time around me.
Hi-yo.
Yeah,
Hello.
my left brain's going right now. So to finish up on politics, I think we have what we'll say a multiple ratings sweeps week for the global narrative, and they're going to throw everything at the marketing wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Okay, see what sticks. I think they're so out of touch with the social engineered system that they don't understand the beast that they've created and how it will begin to backfire on them. Yeah,
I mean, I've got a theory.
There's a writer's strike in heaven.
Yeah.
Writer's strike in heaven, yeah.
What? Who the fuck are these characters? Joe Biden? I have to work with this? My theory is that they're allowing the New World Order to go, like the higher ups are allowing the middle management to go through with their plans. So the general public go, well, no, this is fucked, and they sacrifice them, and so the whole system can continue in like the higher ups can still be in control for another 50 to 100 years, because it's like, oh no, there's no corruption. Look, we got rid of all of them. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like you rather a slave think the slave thinks they're free compared to a slave that's in chains in a cell. And so by allowing like the Dick Cheneys and the Clintons and all that level of shitheads, we're going to do this because we want to take over the planet, and then humanity goes no, and then everyone relaxes, and then 50 years later, wait a minute, you know what I mean? How's that for kicking the can down the road?
Yep.
So and David, the other day you got the Facebook invitation to join the Illuminati.
Oh, I've got a couple of those.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, I got the Facebook invitation because I'm active with some of these Freemasons. And so I get this invitation to join Illuminati 666, New World Solution. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not joining anything with Illuminati because first of all, they always, if something is fake when they don't even read they don't even know their own history, right? This Illuminati thing was, they weren't even called the Illuminati, okay? The brotherhood that they're referring to is called the Brotherhood of Saturn. That's who they're referring to, okay? Yeah. I don't know how the Brotherhood of Saturn became the Illuminati. Like, seriously?
David Icke, unfortunately.
Like, where did he come up with that? Is it just a cool name to call them?
No, yes, he was using metaphor and literal terms and gave it that monstrous name.
Yeah.
Okay, because Illuminati suggests that they're enlightened, right? The light of the world, really. And I'm like, no, they're not. They were a spiritual group who decided, the only way to keep order is to control everything. Once we control everything is fine.
Control.
And
a bunch of spiritual Karens.
A
Total.
bunch of spiritual, yeah. They didn't want to speak to your manager. They wanted to take over the whole company
They
and
want to be
fire
your
everybody.
manager. They want to be your manager.
Yeah, I'm your
Yeah.
manager now.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, I'm not joining Illuminati 666 New World Solution. The invitation made me laugh because I'm like, you guys actually have such a thing on the net, but they have quite a few members in there, and I'm like,
Well, it's
how?
big in the hip hop world.
Yeah, but the
it's just
whole thing
really
is that's a scam. That scam has been going on Facebook for like 5 years now.
It has.
A bunch of different evil marketing companies have been doing that to harvest names because people join it because it's funny. Name harvesting, data harvesting, yeah.
So it's
And
like
also,
it's like a lead generation kind of thing.
Yeah. And then they sell merch for like hats and stuff because they're trying to influence, because a lot of people wear Illuminati stuff for fun.
For
yeah,
what?
Because
Jay-Z and
Jay-Z and they all promote Illuminati.
yeah, Jay-Z and Beyonce are all part of the Illuminati, and they do all this fucking shit. And it's like half the metal bands that praise Satan. It's just theater. I mean, there are satanic bands, and they're not popular. I wonder why. But it's
they side. Anybody say? Right. But I don't know why would you want to be associated with a group that is. And the thing is, the real brotherhood that does all that shit don't even know you exist, right?
They don't care about you. Yeah.
You're like earthworms to them, right? Even Beyonce and Jay-Z are like earthworms to them. So
I find it fascinating, the whole, the New World Order. Oh, we have to get rid of the useless eaters because they're all idiots. But didn't you people create the education system over the last century and created them? So you created them. And
that was a little bit catty. No,
it's like
they didn't create it. Listen, that is the ultimate catty comment. They didn't create the education system so that you could learn anything. What the hell? What's wrong with
That's
you?
my point. That's my point. That's my point. That's my point. It was like all these people are idiots. It's like, yeah, well, look at the education system that you created. You made them idiots, and how can you blame them for being idiots when you made them idiots? Idiot.
I can answer that question for you. Because they made the education system for you to be partial idiots, not full on hurtling towards the cliff idiots. You're supposed to learn a little bit, right? A little knowledge is a lot. It's kind of like when you give a set of keys to a watchman. Have you ever seen that? A security guard, you give him a set of keys, and then all of a sudden, oh, I have keys. I have keys. Right?
It's my fiefdom, yeah.
That explains the LaGuardia heist in Goodfellas.
Right? Yeah, I got keys. I'm important, and I'm like, no, you only have the keys to one door, right? And that was the whole setup. But it's kind of funny that you say that, because when it is that we're talking about the education system, everybody thinks, well, in the old days it was the Catholic Church that created the whole education system. No, they weren't. All of these things are just lies, and anybody with like half a brain and an internet connection could figure out who really created the education system. Anybody can connect the dots.
I've learned more after I left school.
After you left school, correct?
Yeah, it was interesting visiting my dad and his wife, and talking about the medical profession. Like, I don't go to Dr. YouTube or Dr. Google, and I didn't say anything because I can't be asked with conflict in the family anymore. But I easily thought it's like strange, because that's what doctors do. They just go on the net. And you're telling me I can't watch anything on YouTube about medical, so I can't look at Harvard, Yale, Sinai, and all these medical places that have, because they just think, you watched a video on YouTube, you know nothing. It's like, well, no.
Let me give you a few a little historical facts with regard to the spiritual community. So those of you who are watching, who are part of the spiritual community, this might be interesting to you. The father of modern medicine was a mystery school proponent. so that if he was practicing today, the father of modern medicine, they would have locked him up a long time ago. Okay? Hippocrates, that's number one. The inventor of geometry was a mystery school proponent. Pythagoras, his theorem, you know Pythagoras? You guys?
Yes.
He would have been Me Too'd.
3.14.
He would have been Me Too, right? Right.
Oh, those wacky Greeks.
Right.
3.14.
Right. He was an esoteric person as well, right? And he would have been gone. They would have laughed him out of the science. These are the things that you actually have to take into consideration. Hippocrates was a friggin' masseuse. That's what he was. All right, let's get this straight.
And he did colonics too. He had the whore filled up with water and ale.
He was a masseuse, really. Right?
Yeah.
The father of modern medicine was a massage therapist. Right? He said the greatest healing is to rub. He meant human touch. That's what he meant. Give me a break, guys. Like, honestly, I could list the number of people who have been part of mystery schools and so on who have been taken out of context. Jesu Ben Bandira.
They're trying to actually remove the theories and equations of Newton because he's white. So, Newton's theories are racist. This is the level of mentality we're dealing with.
Newton's theories are applists.
Yeah, yes, yeah. He's against fruit.
Exactly.
It's like, actually, Zuby pointed out something like, I like pears. If you put something up on the internet, I like pears. Well, what's wrong with oranges? But you hate apples?
I, for one, will be damn happy when this racist gravity isn't holding me back anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
It's a white man's gravity that's holding you back.
Gravity? Where do you get that from?
We made it up just then.
Apple.
Apple.
That's what we do here, David. We make shit up.
So question, we have some techie people here. When's the last time we've had a major computer cell phone virus be really evil?
I think the first one in like 98, right? The very first virus was one of the worst.
No,
right?
Cell phones, for Androids or OS.
The smartphones.
Well, they don't really get hit by viruses, do they?
Yeah, they do. I think 2009 was the 2009 or 10. What was it? The one that opened up all of your contacts and duplicated all your contacts and kept sending emails through your contacts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then then signing you up for websites. Yeah, just kept signing you up and sending emails. David, when's the last time you remember a major Android virus that hit?
There was a major virus around 2006, 2007, but I was ironically just before the major crash. I believe it was the virus that that was cloning people's phones, and it only hit iOS, and Apple tried to block it up, right? But because Android is made up in different parts, it was a little bit safer. But no, it hasn't hit for a while. Why?
Because if we have a cell phone network is the target of the next hack attack or ransomware, which we have seen before, a neighborhood in Illinois got hit with a ransomware on a tower, where they were targeting individual towers that were major towers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So imagine the stock market hit if Verizon Atlanta goes down for 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, that would be because like people have said, oh, they'll take down the internet, and like, yeah, good luck with unless it's an EMP from the sun. I don't see that happening.
It doesn't need to be. It could just be work orders that are misconfused that make.
It'll be one thing. Yeah, it'll be one critical system. But even if it's just the I'll go American, the cell towers themselves, if the phones are basically useless for a week, that would cause so much disruption. You still have like, because I'm talking to you through the internet through my computer at home. There'll still be that sort of communication, but probably limited. But can you imagine society when the phones are turned off basically for a week, and just the snowball effect of that?
I was
No.
referring to just Verizon phones, the Verizon.
Yeah.
in
It would be
Atlanta,
yeah.
because that very easily could be on the next infrastructure hit list,
Yes.
or a cheaper network like Spoof Mobile or Cricket or something like that.
Here in Australia, it's interesting. They don't call it cyber attacks, but it most likely is. But one bank would have their ATMs and FPOS machines and all the electronics would go down for a day, and Commonwealth Bank customers couldn't do anything for a whole day. And so, it wouldn't be across the board where everything shuts down. It would just be one. Like we have 4 or 5 major banks here. So if you fuck up one bank, it just ripples out because enough. You just have to hit one place, like Atlanta, one tower. That the ripple effect would be enough for limited chaos, but still be annoying.
So I bring up these cyber attacks for a reason, because they've been marketing to us for a while. Okay,
Oh, Russia.
Well, it isn't even about Russia. It's about the independent groups that are able to do it, because there are independent groups that are able to do it. Okay, and some of them are motivated by payments from secret organizations like the CIA, FSSBs, etc. But it's still an organized market, and we know that the cartels are getting into those markets too. And if the cartel needs to forcefully launder their money because the banks are a little too worried about what's going to go on and are trying to deleverage themselves from some risk, and they're not laundering as much, the cartel could easily use a big hack scenario to launder a whole bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be the ones that would crash Verizon Atlanta for 10 days.
Andrew, to be quite honest with you, when it is that you're talking about money laundering and the banks say that they have all this anti-money laundering, it's a bunch of hype. If the cartel wants to launder money, they're gonna launder money. And there's nothing that the banks can do to stop that.
That's why cryptocurrency is around right now.
Yep.
Right. I get that. What I'm referring to is as a specific cartel ordering the hack separate of nation states doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we're having a shift of global politics into the narco terrorists themselves as the next bad guy. Because it would be the new older bad guy. The narco terrorists haven't really been around since the mid 90s. Okay.
They still sort of hold a folklore position in Latin culture, though.
Oh yeah.
They're not known to abuse the public in the way you're describing with rent. Maybe on corporations, but like cell towers and stuff like that. I don't think they'd give up their relationship with the people. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake as government.
What I'm trying to say is there's going to be a potential shift into the narcos being the next flavor of the month bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The system needs an enemy for an element of control.
That's right.
And China's not cutting it.
Right. China's not cutting it. They're selling themselves short. Haha. It's all short on China.
Even China broken. China is made in China, so therefore after 5 years it broken. You need new China.
Yeah. And is it going to be a Vanilla Ice bad guy or not?
So I heard Vanilla Ice. What, like the rapper?
Yeah, it says a Vanilla Ice bad guy. Okay.
Stop collaborating. Listen. Shut up.
Okay. So let's talk about the next supervillain. Okay, we had El Chapo, we've had Noriega. What's the future supervillains of the global narrative look like?
Well, will it be someone new, or will they wheel out someone else, like Iran or Palestine or Well, actually, will it be the Taliban because of what's happening in Afghanistan at the moment?
Something newish.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat room says Bezos. I tend to agree because Amazon has gotten really, really big, and now I believe what's his name, Elon Musk has overtaken him as the richest man in America. And what they're trying to do is take them apart. But I can suggest a few people off the top of my head. Like, I think Mark Zuckerberg has, his neutrality stance has gotten a little bit old, and people are rabid. Both people on both sides of the fence, right and left, want him taken away. Okay, they want to break his company apart, and he's holding onto that for dear life, and with good reason as well, right?
Mhm.
Because if the government gets any kind of control in Facebook, that's going to be a really, really bad situation. Okay, it's going to be a really, really bad situation for in terms of programming people, because that's the tool where you program people. Yeah, that's a
That is
major
it.
tool.
Yeah, that is the tool. It's
Okay.
designed to give dopamine release. Designed to be addictive from the user interface.
So I think between Bezos or it's going to be the corporate, but they're going to sacrifice somebody in corporate. Somebody's got to be dangerous.
Somebody's got to be the scapegoat.
Yeah. So it's either going to be Bezos or Zuckerberg. One of them is going to go. They got to get rid of one of them.
It's not going to be Bezos. He just got the $10 billion contract over Microsoft to do the defense contract networking.
Excellent. So I really think that that they're going to sacrifice somebody in there to get.
Well, there's already pre-rumblings that of all the people coming out about Bill Gates, all the Me Too, all the rumors and stuff. They might throw Bill Gates to the wolves.
The thing about Bill Gates is that he has fuck you money. Yeah. Okay. he does have fuck you money.
He can buy people to say fuck you money. Like, that's how much money he has.
And he is dispassionate. There's something about him that that we have to consider. If you were protesting Bill Gates, you know he would sell you the computer and the placards to go. He's that kind of corporate guy. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's soulless. We know this. Okay. So he doesn't really care too much. But Gates has always had, from Microsoft days, a serious control issue. Come on.
Yeah.
He's always had it. If you just turn on a Windows machine anywhere and you will just feel the control issues coming out at you. Right?
Didn't he, like, if anyone invented something for a computer, he would buy the company and dismantle it because he didn't want competition.
Zune. You remember Zune? The
yes.
Little MP3 player?
Yep.
That company was made by a bunch of tech guys. Microsoft wanted a competitor for the iPod. They bought the Zune company. And that's what they do, right? But that's a corporate thing. But he is particularly soulless by building into an operating system that pretty much most of the world uses, hence why I use a Mac, right? Pretty much most of the world uses a bunch of control systems inside the source programming itself and locked up the source code, okay? So you can't do anything on Windows that Bill Gates cannot rewrite remotely. As long as your computer's on the internet, people don't know this about Windows, huh? They don't know this stuff. Mm-hmm. Windows will control your shit from beginning to end. And you want to complain about Google looking into your phones and listening. That's been happening for years before Google and the Android system came about. Having said that, the Android system is pretty freaky. I have one, right? I take off my location services, but when I go to a restaurant and I come back home, it's going to ask me, so how was this restaurant? That's creepy.
Yep, that's shit's creepy. Exactly.
Right? I take off location services and you still know where I am. So what is the point of having a location service toggle switch?
I saw a meme yesterday. It was like, Siri, why do I have trouble with women? I'm Alexa.
That's good. That's just good.
Yeah,
that's just good.
I like the other one where
let's keep going. Hold on, let's keep going with our supervillain, our new coming supervillains.
Yeah, I think it's Zuckerberg is gonna go. They're gonna sacrifice him. They gotta sacrifice him, and
I don't know. I don't know about that. He doesn't look too goatish right now.
Well, there was footage of him on one of those hydrofoil surfboards with an American flag for July 4th. That was interesting. And also, a lot of people made fun of him because he was doing archery with earphones on his head. So I don't know if it's his program trying not to look like the son of Data and he's trying to look like a human, but.
All right. So
What do you
Bruce,
think?
Bruce, what is your predictions of the new supervillains to come? Global narrative villains.
I think they're going to start sacrificing from their own. So I think they're going to give us some low-hanging fruit. It could be Gates. It could be Fauci. They're going to have to give up people. It's a chess game, right? And the pawns have to go.
Yeah.
I have a difficult time seeing the unless I'm wrong, and the cartels are completely co-opted by intelligence organizations now. I can't see them being stupid enough to step up and assume that role.
Yeah, but they're already in that. They're already in that role. They're in the war on drugs.
Yep.
They're already in the role.
It won't be any Western politicians, will it?
We could have a new Barry Seal event, a modern Barry Seal.
No, I think
there you go.
I think the
go.
Hydrofoil, nice. I think the world is getting tired of sacrificing politicians. That's been like the go-to thing for a while now.
We haven't had a real sacrifice in a long time, though.
Yeah.
Well, Dave in the chat, Governor Newsom, he seems to be on the ropes. And you got Caitlyn Jenner hoping to run for governor. That will be interesting for California.
Uh-huh.
No, Sean,
governors are not scapegoats.
Yeah.
Governors are not scapegoats. They're scape kids.
And the Prime Minister of Canada, Castro, I think he'll be there for a while.
Yeah, they're pretty happy with him.
Yeah, he's falling in line quite. No, the Clintons are untouched. They'll leave. Yeah, they're fine. Mind you, if they do offer them, that could be a diversionary tactic, sacrificing the Clintons, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, because you would give food to QAnon, a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So in my view, who are the class of people that would make up real scapegoats? Somebody in the Supreme Court, somebody that's a senator, a cabinet member, past or present, and then somebody in the media, some major person in the media.
So
you don't realize it quietly during the highest ratings times in the beginning of Trump's presidency. They got rid on MSNBC, got rid of a lot of broadcasters that were still pretty popular because they were too old. They were too old fashioned, and you may see them be hard, like Chris Mathis, like he might be got Me Too'd. Some other
disappears.
No, CNN will never disappear. It'll just get sold.
Well, it's still a change. Like the current CNN disappears.
To be CIANN.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of We've invested a lot into this project, and we can't allow it to fail. But in a way, it's going to be not a popular, but an influencer of some sort, where like by cutting out the rot, and so if it's Gates, that would make sense because
we lost we lost a lot of Hollywooders. They got whacked out. Harvey Weinstein, okay.
They got whacked out.
Okay. Okay.
Paul Weinstein.
Okay. So those are real scapegoats. Ben Cosby got out. Bill Cosby's out.
Yes,
out of jail.
Is.
Yeah.
Because I watched the Razor Fist rebuttal on the whole thing, and he hasn't really said if Bill did it or not, but the entire trial was a complete farce and it wasn't a true justice thing or something like that. So that's why it was released out on a technicality. But the amount of loosh that came out from that, it was well played.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So does the Illuminati protect its own? Bill Cosby. Ha!
Yeah.
He's out. He's out.
Mm.
Can you imagine how this man got out on a technicality?
Yeah.
Come on. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I can actually, because it's explained where it's Philadelphia, and so the corruption level on that is fucking huge. There was two guys running for district attorney. One campaigned on, I will put Bill Cosby in jail. He lost, and so the other district attorney won, obviously. However, the Cosby trial or Cosby thing goes to trial, and the judge that was running for district attorney turns out to be the judge of the Cosby trial.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, it's like, you know, Shakespeare's going, why didn't I think of this? This is brilliant.
That's messed up. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just one little thing of it. So, like, the whole thing is a complete farce. I don't know if Bill did it or not. A lot of the original testimonies, they found out they were lying and blah blah blah, and it's a shit show basically.
Yeah. I hear
Right.
that.
Now, does anybody have any predictions in the next 6 months for any natural disasters that will influence
Well,
the global narrative, good, bad, or and if it doesn't matter?
What is happening with the volcanoes? Because a friend of mine, Bill's gone gangster. A friend of mine has been watching the volcanoes, and there seems to be an uptick
Yes,
in
there has been.
tectonic plates and volcanoes.
Yep.
And he showed me this thing over 20 years. A bit of land has actually sunken so slow, and it's just this massive circle, like a caldera, and it's sunken right near some thing. It's in the northwest of the United States, and
Yellowstone.
it's only Yellowstone's about 6 times as big as that, but that's pretty close to it type thing. But it was fascinating where, like, well, what is going on there, even if it's part of the natural system or whatever. Because he's looking at it, but over time there was like Google satellite, and you can just see this, you know, massive circle slowly grow over 20 years since like the last 40 years. The land's either sunken or the mountains around it have gone up, but I think if it's sunk slowly. So I don't know. I'm going to just pass on to Andrew.
Well, let's put it this way: a volcano erupted in St. Vincent. That's in the Caribbean Sea. That's like blew ash to neighboring islands. People don't understand the worst part of a volcano is the ash. It's not really the eruption. The eruption, you know it's coming, you can get away from it, but it's the ash that is really a problem, because if you have asthma, you're fucked, right? So
yeah,
that happened, and there's like rumblings that we're overdue for a volcano in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, which would affect just about everything, including North America. So Miami's going to feel that really bad, because there's a volcano, a huge one, sitting in the Caribbean Basin.
Yeah, 10, 12 years ago, Iceland, remember when they had a volcano pop off and all air traffic over Europe stopped because the atmosphere was just, it was so full of shit.
All right, so who remembers the Mexico City earthquake that shook the world, and the Haitian earthquake, and then we had the 2004 Banda Aceh earthquake followed by the Salvador. So do any of you feel natural disaster energy coming in the next 6 months?
No.
I don't feel anything at the moment, really. But I'm asking myself, no. However, things can turn in 36 hours. So I'm not really good at predictions. So I'm going to say no, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if there is.
I think,
but there's something's going to happen. But you know, as I said to you, Andrew, before, it could take 50 years. But that potential energies there is like something's going to happen, but it's outside of time.
Agnostic Boolean, Monty. That's an agnostic Boolean.
Okay, I think we are going to see a hurricane season this year that is going to be very trying on unprepared and previously damaged countries, and see economic disasters if they're not aided after the disasters.
Oh, I just remembered then, there was 3 countries where their presidents went against the global narrative. They're all dead now. Like the latest one was in Haiti.
Yeah.
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 So
imagine if you have 2 category 4s that take out the Caribbean and a category 3 that puts 20 inches of rain on Florida. Florida will survive. It's just be another $20 billion in damage.
The category 1 just came through
Yep.
the bottom of the Caribbean. It did.
We're about to stack. The next 13 are about to happen. And
Wow.
David, you got another one. Yeah, if you just go by the standard rules, you go from 1 or 2 a month to 10 a month to 19 a month.
Whoa.
And then the season's over.
The thing about it is that the world's climate has been changing slowly, bit by bit. And so what we have, what I think we're going to be experiencing a lot of is the effects of melting ice caps. And it's melting a lot faster than people think. Okay. I'm happy to know that a lot of us aren't going to be here to see the disaster that could bring. But even at the rate that it's melting at this point in time, what we are seeing is a rise in the oceans and stuff like that. And people say, no, that's a hoax. No, it's actually for real, because it's not just going to affect just the oceans. It's going to affect the way the climate operates, which will become very inhospitable for us in a very short space of time. It already has, I think that we're going to be seeing a few floods. I think people you're right, Andrew, places in the world that haven't been affected before are being affected.
Well, who got hit last year in hurricanes? And 3 years in a row, all the Caribbean islands got hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Category 5, and it declined because
Irma.
it's been, yeah, correct. It was a category 5.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. So we're barely seeing the recoveries in those places. So if they all get hit again, and then you have another Florida hit, and it's just a rain event, and it's not it's not a death disaster, the impacts on the economies at that point will be nothing, because the cruise liners can't survive the destroyed ports.
No, they can't. They barely survived this pandemic.
Yeah, barely survived it.
Well, yeah. Now, will it be a natural disaster or be a man-made natural disaster? Because most of the world is still in a form of lockdown. The United States seems to be set up to be kicked in the nuts because, even Foo Fighters, rock and roll's back. We're over the pandemic. It's tell that to the British people. They're talking about indefinite lockdowns, and well, that's just stupid. So, or if I fallen down a rabbit hole where it's, will it be created, or will it just happen naturally?
I am tending to think that this coming hurricane season will have significant effects on the Caribbean and the South, and it's going to determine how unprepared and how undersupplied the local areas are going to be. We just had a year of limited supplies worldwide, and now we're going to be having multiple disasters spread over multiple countries in a standard hurricane season. Let me check how many. Let me check. I'll be just the hurricane forecast out of curiosity.
Yeah, because that would be a massive blow because of the damage to the lockdowns, and then you have all this stuff, and because the fear of COVID, everything would have to be COVID safe, and so on and so forth. Because when there's a natural disaster, there's so much chaos of trying to save people from buildings or floods or anything else like that. Then add the COVID safe element on top, where everyone has to be in hazmat suits and trying to do the same thing.
I'm going to give you this from another perspective as well. Whenever there's a disaster, there's an opportunity if you're a proper person.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You can't let a disaster. What is that saying? You can a disaster is a perfect opportunity for. I can never remember correctly, but never let a good disaster go to waste.
Correct. So I can pretty much tell you that there were rumors when they were evacuating in the island of St. Vincent. If you weren't vaccinated, they were deprioritizing you from the evacuation efforts, which is pretty evil shit, right?
It's South African apartheid on steroids.
Yeah. So there is that. But to tie in with what Andrew was saying and what you were saying just a while ago, you're gonna have some flooding. I think that the northern part of China is going to feel it. Okay.
So China could be hit by one of those super typhoons, like when the Philippines got hit 2 years ago. Remember the super typhoon that almost killed the Philippines?
Yep.
Yeah. That was like a major category 5. So here's the 20 to 21 forecast from NOAA. 13 to 20 named storms of 39 miles an hour or higher, of which 6 to 10 could become hurricanes, 74 miles an hour, included 3 to 5 major hurricanes, categories 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it is expected NOAA provides these ranges within 70% confidence. So basically, you could have 13 to 39 storms this season, and we're on our third or fourth? I think it's
we're on our fourth. We're on our fourth.
So we have a maximum. If we were looking at a maximum number, 33 more to go, or minimum numbers 19 more to go. So there's a lot of hurricanes to come. Okay, even if it's a category 1 and it just dumps rain, that does a lot of major damage.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seen anywhere else, like because Australia has occasional cyclone, typhoons, hurricanes, all the same thing, just different names, different places. One of our famous cyclones was on Christmas Eve in I think 1975 in the 70s, called Cyclone Tracy, and it completely wiped Darwin clean off the map. I can't remember how many people.
That's a rarity. There has to be something significant.
To
turn that far south.
Because getting that south, because we get pretty weak stuff here in Australia, hurricane wise, but we could burn down and flood in the same week.
So then there's India with the monsoons. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could see people in a lockdown scenario getting flooded out.
Mm-hmm.
Any feeling of say earthquakes in New Zealand?
Yes, there could be, but I think we'll probably see some kind of, what was it in the late 80s, the flooding in Europe that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that in the mid 90s? I think that was the 90s.
Do you remember the Red River flood in Manitoba, David? Were you around?
Yep.
Huge Canadian story.
Yep.
When did that happen?
I can't. 2007 was it?
Yeah, around there. And we had this great ice storm in 2012 that knocked out Toronto's power grid in the middle of winter, -27. You remember that? That was brutal. Okay.
Well, like it was. Well, I mean, the stuff that happened to Texas, was it this year? Because my memory's shot. But Texas, where they nearly, something's messing with the jet stream, where all the water that's supposed to be for California ending up in Texas, but it froze and there's snow. It was like, isn't Texas supposed to be similar to Australia, where it's hot all the time?
No, they found out something different. It was snowing in California this year. You forgot about that. That's not normal by any stretch of the imagination. It was snowing in California this year. Like, what's happening with that? I have friends out in Saskatchewan who are telling me that they're getting, like, it's normal to have seasonal storms, but it's coming every weekend. And having a storm on the prairies is not a good thing. Okay.
No.
Okay, because lightning will come down straight down to the ground. And a friend of mine, she was telling me, she has a neighbor. The father was struck and killed by lightning, and the son got struck in the fields as well. Hint, hint, don't go out into the fields. Well, there's a storm on the prairies.
Strange that.
You gotta worry about that stuff, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we could spend another 2 hours figuring out if it's the planet changing naturally, man-made interference, and I'm talking like geoengineering, chemtrail, terraforming. I don't think it's the exhaust from my car. And I mean, the sun's being weird, and it's like, oh, it's the hottest day on record, but the records only go back to 1880. We're on a planet that's 4 billion years old. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
so it's interesting. It's like they actually there was an article for Melbourne. Well, not a cold front, but the change. You know, when there's a change in the weather and it drops 10 degrees Celsius. In Melbourne, our weather is very unique, and so everyone that's got a brain's like, oh, the changes come through and the temperatures dropped. But some young journalist without a brain, oh, is this an effect of climate change? Well, technically it is, because a cold front came in and the temperature went down. It's not man-made. The media is funny.
Andrew, what do you think in terms of the way the ice caps are melting? We got an increase of water in the atmosphere, and it's beginning to affect us.
See, this year was the highest amount of new snowpack in the last 50 years. So a tremendous amount of snow has fallen back into the ice caps. Yes, there is a global warming, but there is a process in which water is being turned back into snow in certain areas, but it's melting just as fast. So water is in a major redistribution process. And we know that our world is a globe and it spins, and there's tremendous amount of water that's in between these cracks of the rocks, the moisture, all that sort of a hydrodynamic system. As gravity begins to redistribute water of surface and subsurface, more of the weather changes will have major effects on local areas. As the rock begins to purge out its remaining waters and desert areas become true desert areas, and the water table is significantly lower, so more water come down in other areas. So in my view, global warming is more of global redistribution of water in whatever form it's going to be.
This is what I think. I think messing with the temperature of Earth is going to create problematic shifts inside tectonic plates.
Absolutely. Okay? And it's still going to, because of the specific gravity of how the water's making the surface pressure, the total amount of water on the planet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And water is very magnetic too, especially saline water. It has a lot of magnetic and electrical charge in it. There could be a situation where there could be a unique geomagnetic storm that does something very odd to the saline in the ocean, charges the oceans up, which could create a completely different change in how fast ice is formed. Okay.
Yeah, right. And I think, and also, like, if we weren't undercontrolled by knobs, we would be technical term. We would actually be prepared for it, like, good building material, and like, I mean, Bruce's earthbag house. I think unless an atomic bomb goes off, that will survive anything.
It'll be here.
Yeah, even after the atomic bomb, Keith Richards and Bruce's house. Oh look,
I built a turtle shell.
Yeah. But it's like some people laugh at the Japanese when they found out, all their houses are made out of balsa wood and rice paper. Yeah, they have earthquakes. And after a while, you just want to, it's so much easier just to rebuild if it's everything made out of arts and crafts. If you keep building stone and you can die, humans usually adapt. But the last 120, 140 years, the controllers have been controlling, the English language, and we're kind of here. And I hate when people blame humanity. It's humanity's fault we're here. Oh, fuck off. I don't wait, gentlemen, do you remember sitting down at a meeting? It's like, you know what, we should ban hemp. I don't remember that meeting.
It was in the 1920s.
Oh, well.
Long before you were even a twinkle in your daddy's eye.
Well, all right. I don't remember any member of my family being at that meeting.
Yo.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
So, David, to finish your question on what's going to go down here. Global warming is global warming.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to see in the next 3 to 5 years when it comes to global warming? Not much. Okay. Are we going to see a global superstorm that turns the world around to come to work together? I'd hope so, but I don't think so. I think we're out for the thousand paper cuts of death.
Yeah.
Okay. One storm at a time, one $10 billion storm at a time. What if we had 4 category 4s hit this year? One hits Florida, one hits Texas, one hits Mexico, and one hits Central America. Hits the whole Caribbean. That's a lot of oil rigs that are going to go down. Right?
Yeah, and that would work into their plans as well because they want to do the scarcity and energy thing.
Right.
One of the most funny things about the pandemic is when the price of oil dropped to negative.
Negative, yeah.
A drop negative. That's funny as all hell. You got a negative price on oil. Only economists can come up with some shitty report like that. You got a negative price on oil. All right, defies all the laws of supply and demand, but it actually happened. So they've been playing with this oil prices for years. It's been the cause of wars. It's been the cause of a whole bunch of shit. If you throw a storm into the mix, that's not anything good that can happen here. Okay, because it's an opportunity. It's going to be an opportunity to get rid of to gouge out people's eyes with regard to the price of oil. But it's also going to be a kick in the ass for certain kinds of oil-rich countries, like Guyana has just figured out, oh, we have oil. We had bauxite before, but now we have oil. And I'm like, Then they invited the Americans in once again to come and help them refine that oil. Well, you know what's going to happen to that country. It's only a matter of time. You know this, right?
Yeah.
So
globalists are going to take in.
Yep, and that's how it rolls in our life. So honestly speaking, in terms of natural disasters, I think we're looking at. You're right. I actually do think we're looking at the 1,000 paper cuts of death. But depending on what kind of paper cut you're talking about, because a paper cut in China is different from a paper cut in the U.S. is different from a paper cut in the Caribbean.
Especially if any of the major port cities in the China South Coast get hit by one storm that wrecks their infrastructure, the damage it will do to the global shipping industries is just disastrous.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you got to rethink the whole supply chain and how much of what we buy isn't produced where we live anymore, or manufactured where we live. And we're looking at an unprecedented restructuring, like 10 times the size of the Marshall Plan. It's mind-boggling. And we're not having any open debate about it, any open dialogue about it.
That is quite true.
Yeah.
That is quite true. And people have become used. People have signed up, used and used. Right, they've signed on to the Amazon crack pipe. Getting people off of that crack pipe is not going to be so easy, right?
That's right.
Right, because Amazon has really restructured the entire idea of supply and demand.
All right, so let me just jump in here real quick. So we're at the point we want to take some calls from the callers, from the people that are in the chat room here. If you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch and want to be a part of the call-in part of the show, you must be here in the Zoom room. Now, this is the point where I usually insult the audience here about raising their hand, but I'm going to pass it off to somebody else to encourage the chat room of chicken shits to raise their hand.
Right. I'll go first.
Do it.
Call in. Shut up.
Do it.
No, I don't want to.
It's not working. You're not doing it. No one's doing it.
What are you saying? Do it to call in, or let me tell people to call in? Because I'm basically all I'm saying is I'm going for a piss, and when I come back, I want some motherfuckers' hands raised. All right, I've been watching a way too much Tarantino films, so I'm trying not to say Nigerian. I'll be back.
Call in, ask a question, tell us a joke, tell us
We
something funny.
we have a hand raised. Robert, unmute Raz.
Raz, you are unmuted.
Raz,
Meow,
are you there?
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, meow, meow. Where are you calling from?
Mauritius?
Welcome to the show. We making you laugh tonight?
Man, I just woke up like 2 hours ago. So yeah, it's like, give me a second. It's 4:44 a.m. in here. So I woke up at 3 a.m. And when I came in, you guys were already talking about politics. So yeah.
That's
Wait,
an odd
this was
time
a
to wake
comedy
up
show?
at.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah.
in Mauritius. He's in the Mauritius Islands.
Right next to Madagascar.
Yes, right next to Madagascar. We have a gigantic international audience here.
Hey, I'm the only one from Mauritius. Am I?
Yes.
Anyway, so what do you guys want to talk about, or what do you want me to ask?
What do you want to ask?
All right, we're gonna talk TV shows. Whoever the fuck us to watch Warrior. Who was it? Was it Andrew? Was it?
Yeah, I told you all to watch Warrior. Yes.
That was a fantastic show.
Was it
I
not?
doubted you.
It
I
was.
doubted you, but that was a fantastic show.
You
Yeah.
should
Here's what
never doubt me when it comes to my TV recommendations.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's what. All right, go on, David.
No, he just gave me a show to watch, Billions. Also a fantastic show.
It's on my watch list. I just couldn't watch it lately. I just recently watched Utopia, and before that was Travelers. God, I love Travelers. That was the best shit ever. It was the one show I started watching and never stopped. But yeah, Travelers. Where did I get Travelers? It was I was rewatching one of the Martina show where she was a walk-in, and that show came in.
Yep, I told you guys to just shows to go out and watch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Billions is the show I just introduced David to. After the first 10 minutes, he had to text me and like, "What the fuck?"
I almost missed this show here, this Friday night show, because I was binging.
Yeah, Warrior was a great show.
What did you like? What did you like about Warrior?
If you watched in reverse, it's about two white women destroying Chinatown. But
oh man,
nice.
But what did I like about it? It was no nonsense. It was extremely well crafted, and it's the kind of storytelling you won't see in this day and age. So when you look it up, which all of us did, it was written by Bruce Lee back in the day. You know, Assam was the name of it. Yeah. And it's clearly the kind of thing you wouldn't see in this day and age. The storytelling, the setting was extremely gorgeous. And did you guys notice the way they talk? They keep calling one another onions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, itchy onions. If that was made by one of the Californian liberals, they'd probably call one another fam or some such shit.
Yeah.
So that that was very, very detailed, because it takes you back to the era of 1870s. Plus, at the same time, we got the whole tongue wars, a very good example of how this team is messing with this team, who's messing with this team. You know, everyone is fighting one another. There's this nice, what's the word? No, fuck it. Let's just call it a mess. So about who's going to control what. Yeah, it was extremely well done on every side. Acting, music, setting, dress, everything was extremely
the writing
well
was well. I love the Irish people, except in that show, because the Irish are complete bastards in that show.
One of them is.
Well, yeah, it's it was interesting because a lot of them fought in the Civil War. If you remember the scene, two African Americans walk in and they want a drink, and two Irish guys are doing the whole racist thing. And then the main Irish guy, who's a bit of a prick, says, "No, we fought for him. Blah blah. We fought for them. You have your drink, but never come back." It's like, oh, you're just special, aren't you?
There was only, I think, the scene that made me a little bit weird was when they're street fighting, and with each and every punch, my head was like, you do realize that will be a teeth infection. That's a broken bone right there.
Yes. I got the same thing.
All right. How did you manage to do all of that, get that much protein, get that much muscle, and sustain it all while living on like what, $1 a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some deep continuity editing there. Most people
no. This is all about suspension of belief.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's the beauty of television, and the way I had that too, because those were so off the cuff fight scenes that they were doing, especially that end fight scene for season 2.
Wait a minute, Raz, where are you from originally?
Mauritius. I have a very weird accent. Why is that?
Okay, because I'm hearing something else inside there. That I know.
Tell me.
I know people from Mauritius. They don't sound exactly like you.
Why? What do I sound like? Because there's a story behind this, but tell me. What do I sound like?
Raz, your accent is unique. I got a little bit of European in there. I got like Indian in there. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like you want to explain?
Because
it's like an Indian learned to speak British by speaking French. Posh British French.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys something. By the age of 6, I was speaking 4 languages. Okay.
Wow.
So I was required to be trilingual by education standards, and by my grandmother's slaps, I was required to know Hindi. So yeah, there's a lot in there. When I was in New Zealand, they're like, you have a French accent. When I'm in Mauritius, they're like, you have an English accent. When I'm online, they're like,
I'm going through that now because Andrew's pointed out I've Americanized a little bit of my accent, and
I want it. Keep it.
And no, not like that, you fool. But my mum listened to the sample bit on the Stardust Ranch book and said, "You don't sound Australian." So I had to tell Andrew that, and after he stopped laughing, he said, "Yes."
Yeah.
So I think I'm getting more international, which is good because when I start to travel, I won't be sort of pinned down. Because if you're Australian, you go to England, they refer to you as convicts, and then I stab them and take their wallet. So
get back to your roots, Monty. I'll be hiring pistoleros soon.
Well, I was born in Nottingham, so I should go back. Which is fun. Where even once I was working in a restaurant, and they're like, "So what part of New Zealand are you from?" "I'm Australian." "Really? You're so polite." "What?"
If you're Australian, you're a South New Zealander.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's like, "What part of New Zealand from?" And I said, "The West Island." "What the hell are you talking about?"
Monty, when you were in New Zealand, where did you stay? Was it Dunedin or South Island?
Oh, I was only in New Zealand for 2 weeks, and we went from Wellington down to Invercargill at the very bottom of the southern in winter. Don't do that.
Oh God,
it's really cold.
If you want to toughen your immune system, go eat in Wellington. It's an absolute disease center, for fuck's sake. You can't even sit. You can't even sit in Cuba Street, touch a chair without getting diarrhea at the end. It's like fucking man.
And it's one of the windiest places on earth. I went to Dunedin. I've never been to Scotland, but I went to Dunedin. It's like, this is Scotland. Yeah, overcast, horizontal rain. It's like
yeah. But yeah.
Well, Monty, Jimmy the Kid in the chat room says the international accent will get you laid and or so also paid.
There you
Excellent.
go.
Yes.
Got no beef there.
Finally. It's my time to rise.
Now we must put a tribe of international accentees together.
That will
Yeah,
make us
oh.
gigolos
Oh.
and shit.
And just a small problem of getting the fuck off lockdown.
You know, get gigolos. Hey, Andrew, can I ask you something?
Sure.
I don't know, but because I was 1 hour late to the whole stream. You've seen the numerous explosion these days? Everywhere.
The new what explosion?
Everywhere there's all kinds of explosions happening. Sometimes it's in Russia, sometimes it's on pipelines, sometimes it's
yes.
under.
Yes.
That's an infrastructure attack from the hacking system, the hacking war, the background hacking war that's been going on since 2018. It's the World War III into the digital realms and hitting of infrastructure right now. Like today, Iran's entire train network shut down, the whole country.
Ow!
The whole train network, the whole thing's done.
Is the Gulf of Mexico still on fire with that Sauron thing?
I don't know.
You mean Heaven's Gate?
Yeah, basically. And there's all these little tugboats trying to put the fire out with water. It's burning in water. Good luck with that.
No, that's still going. But they will have it out in a little bit. They got to wait for the pressure in the well to go down a little bit.
Yeah. And people are going, "I'll see what capitalist does it." Then you find out, well, it's a nationalized company, so it's technically socialism.
Have you guys ever been on an oil rig before?
No.
So they're like fire extinguishers on an oil rig. I find that exceedingly funny.
Yeah, optimistic hope.
Because if something pops off on an oil rig, that extinguisher isn't going to do jack shit, right?
It's a buoyancy device. You grab it and jump off.
Like, that's just there for show. But Raz is actually onto something there, because there's been a lot of upheaval. And Andrew, the tech world, this World War III that you're talking about, that's been going on for a while. It's just heated up a lot, huh?
No. It got a bunch of new players in 2018, which changed the field, the rules of engagement, where critical infrastructure was now targetable. Where the rules of engagement before, you didn't hit critical infrastructure, you hit the side infrastructure and the supply infrastructure.
There were attacks in Canada as well that you don't know about.
Yeah, you don't know about. They don't want you to know about them either. And one of the other things that's going on right now is Sweden, Norway, all those, their pension funds are getting hit too. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a massive hack theft from them, and they're just trying to cover it up right now.
Whatever happened to... Go ahead.
There was a TV show called Years and Years. It was written by Russell T Davies, who brought Doctor Who back. It's fascinating. They sort of jump ahead over 15 years, looking into the future. But they get to the point that cyber attacks get that bad, they actually go back to paper. Will we ever get to that level where
no.
There
would be too many. There are many off-network systems that aren't connected in any way. And those will continue to survive. The thing is, it's the social engineering side that can take those down. And, it's not like it was in, what was it? The Tyler Durden movie. You could take down Fight Club, where you could take down all the banks at once. Everything's on the cloud. Right? Yeah. All the records are on the cloud. So even if you have EMP attacks, it won't matter. It's all on the cloud. Yes, there'll be a bureaucratic nightmare, but it's still, the records are still there.
And they're redundant. So if you want to take right now, if you want to take down the US tax system, you literally have to bomb multiple sites. And I mean, completely destroy them.
And I've said this to the hacking world many times. The DoD gets hacked all the time, and it's supposed to be an unhackable system in the world. Why isn't anyone taking the IRS down? Okay.
That's protected on multiple dimensions.
Okay. Why hasn't anyone taken the IRS down? Okay.
Yeah, that would be like the Fed or IRS or the actual things that control most of our lives financially. But no. We'll have a go.
You have the DoD, the top defense network in the world, has been hacked 150 times. No one's hit the Fed. No one's hit the IRS.
Yeah. But we should, Jerry, the motor mechanic, was taken down today.
Gary McKinnon can reveal all about the secret space programs on one hack in the late 80s, but the rest, no FBI.
No. I like that photo. Oh, is that cyber threats? Yeah, I think it's IP Viking as well that does it, and it just looks like you're watching the movie War Games, where it's like you bang, 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 bang. It's quite hypnotic. Just watching it go, like and this is in real time as well. Over 85 million attacks on this day.
Wow.
Look, the Middle East is attacking itself.
Look at you guys looking at India. You guys looking at India.
Yeah, India as well. India's having a go. See, I like Russia. Is there a server farm in the middle of Russia, or yeah, Russia's big.
And every now and then it'll ping one of those oil rigs in the middle of the South African oceans, which are just CIA hotspots.
Yeah.
These guys are busy.
Well,
look at that stuff.
What state is that in the United States? Because it's hammering the East Coast.
This is very slow. The whole screen could be covered up in lines when it really gets serious.
I think it's IP Viking. It's just like bang, bang, bang. But see, I don't know if they know it's from the country, or there's one guy in the Midwest called Dave. It's like fucking, I'm having a go at everything.
Oh, Andrew, can I ask something?
Sure.
You remember the Tianjin explosion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, when that happened, I looked at it and I said, "That's a nuke." So I went to look for that video on LiveLeak again, and LiveLeak is gone, and it's been gone since Israel Palestine started killing one another recently. They took the whole site down. They changed it to item fix. You can't get those.
You can go to archive. You can go to archive.org and find it.
Well, you will find all the videos. You know. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I
so
want
the Tianjin explosion. So people don't realize that was the head of their cybersecurity. So their entire cybersecurity network was there, and the explosion was literally right on top of the main artery line for the internet for the whole country. Okay, it connected right to the international underground cables.
Yeah, I think
as well as a satellite communication center. So yeah, I called that back in 2015 a nuke. Now we've also had the explosion in and not in Lebanon. What is it? Beirut.
Yeah.
Beirut. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you think that was?
The official story was some chemical thingy, and it was underwater. Was it? That was another little. Was it a briefcase-sized nuke or wait, energy weapons?
Nope. Anybody else wish to put an idea?
Well, out of the conspiracy world, the theory was that it was.
Hey, you talked about that. You talked about that in the. Yeah, you talked about that last year. Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, like a bomb coming down because, like, look, you can just see it enter frame, like, but it could have been, I don't know. And you just tell us instead of.
Oh, I want everyone to have a chance. Bruce.
No prediction.
Okay, David.
No, I don't have a prediction for that one. That one had me floored, actually.
Okay. That was an example of something that wasn't in the plan.
Ooh.
That was a real piece of news, which shocked the entire control system. Why was all that ammonium nitrate there? And it revealed its own corruption. And it realizes it's got ammonium nitrate everywhere. Tons of this shit as part of the setup for war that they were trying to do the last 30 years. You had to have the materials local.
Yeah. Run by psychopaths, ruled by psychopaths, run by idiots.
Exactly. And so they're realizing that they have fucking ammonium nitrate everywhere, enough to make bombs for everywhere. How do you think the Palestinians keep making those rockets? Well, they're going to turn their shit into C4?
Yeah, you need something to power rockets.
It totaled the entire place. There was a massive, nice circular place.
What I found interesting is afterwards you could see the Beirut people, however you would say, like, Melburnians, Atlanteans, people of Beirut, there was still tears and emotion, but you could just see that grinding thing of, for fuck's sake, again. They're tired and they're over it. And but it was interesting too to see. It did look like, well, it was a national event, like through the corruption, because it came out of nowhere, and people's reactions to it are like, "What the fuck was this?" And the outpouring of humanity was there as well, which I do find that, to me, it helps with trying to talk to the doomers, the doom junkies. The example I use is the Manchester bombing, which was at a pop concert. Like, the idea was, someone set off a bomb and people died, and everyone run in fear. But the thing is, it didn't work 100% because people were running into hell, and that's true humanity. Where something bad happens, there are people that are scared, which is natural. But then the bravery gene kicks in, and people go in and do brave things to save more lives.
Amen.
Yeah, damn straight. I.
As you just had a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're at the end of the show. Monty, why don't you give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Just type in Wafer Thin Entertainment into most things and you'll find it, on Twitter and Rumble and BitChute. The YouTube channel is the main place, which is Wafer Thin 1, and more. There's Wafer Thin on Twitter and all places. So Wafer Thin Entertainment, it's easy to remember. I've learned how to spell entertainment correctly now, so there you go. And I can be seen at my local Aldi when I get money again.
Okay. Bruce, want to give away people get a hold of you?
Bruce MacDonald, MacDonald on Amazon Books.
Look at that library.
Look at that library. And he is the co-writer of the Galactic Historian book, which is available live now on Amazon. And David, you want to give away for people to get a hold of you?
Yes, you can get a hold of me at www.universalcitizen.net.
.net. Anyways, we have had an outstanding show. All right, everybody, take it easy, and we'll be back for another show next week. Take us away, Robert.
2 weeks.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the holy grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.